greatest co-host in the world, Y2K99. Get ready to rumble!
The tag team champions of the world.
My brotherly Creepath.
That is the best intro I have ever received.
The world. The Buffalo Jets man.
Yo.
George Fant is a barely above replacement level, pretty good left tackle.
How can you say
Compare
that when
that
he
to
was
an-
top 3 in sack percentage last year for left tackles?
And I think when in doubt, until you have better reason, go with the optimistic view. And our defensive line is going to be giving a lot of people some trouble.
But yeah, it's got to be. I'm with you. I don't like the Nathan's fries when they're like floppy. It's got to be like done really well. You know, it's very hard to teach 6'3" and 4.3 speed. That's very rare. The talent's there. He's just got to put it together mentally.
Right.
To get
You're a
onto
cheater.
you, I'm a cheater. And I'm back here. I don't know what happened or why you can't see me, but I swear I'm back here. There I go. I don't have the lights on. I'm totally unprepared because I'm totally distraught. Distraught? I'm totally distraught. I can't speak right. And I think I'm better off just doing an accent because maybe I'll be able to speak. Look, I'm devastated. Let's just start by saying that. I don't know how you could be a Jet fan and not feel devastated today. And it doesn't matter what your opinions were of this team, of this quarterback, of this coaching staff. It doesn't matter. We're all Jet fans, and there's just no way not to be devastated. That was such a winnable game. And it's so disgusting. It's so disgusting that we didn't win this game. I'm going to start by saying that it's just gross. It's absolutely gross. Let me just go right to the chat and just see who's here to start us off. Randy, I feel you. I know you need to vent. I feel you. I feel the pain. I mean, my God, it's going to be hard to live this next week. And we'll get into all the things that are bad and what because we took a double shot with Zach, and I'll talk about that later on what I'm talking about. Some of you may have figured it out already. It's more than just how he played today. Justin Jets, yeah, I know it's easy to feel that way. I don't know if we have anybody on our roster, though. I don't know if I agree that Mike White's the guy either. And I'll get into how I feel about Zach Wilson in a little bit more detail, but I understand exactly how you feel. I'm not feeling great myself. I don't know if you're being sarcastic, Twisted. Johnny G, coach was right after he said the offense was dog shit. Did he say it like that? I didn't even get to watch because I was on the post-game show at Buffalo. What's going on, Clutch? Obviously, we're not doing well. Today was brutal. And then we can pay a car or Jimmy G. Yeah, I mean, Jimmy G, we'll talk about it. But if we were going to go, if by the end of the season we know Zach's not the guy and it's official and the staff realizes it, I can't imagine them going for, if they were going to bring in a veteran quarterback, anyone but Jimmy G, because he knows the system and we don't have to start over again, right? He would just be coming in and doing the same thing he's been doing for the last bunch of years. We already know it. He could do it at an effective enough level to get to a Super Bowl if you put the right defense behind him or us alongside him. Plus, he'd have a lot of weapons, especially next year with all the guys coming back. Zach Wilson and LaFleur play calling cost us the game. Well, it's hard to argue that. Zach Wilson is arguably the worst quarterback in the NFL. It's hard to argue that. Saleh needs to bench him and hold him accountable. or else it's going to get worse. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the real discussion, right? Because who do you bring in? That's really the question. If you had somebody you thought might end up being the franchise quarterback, maybe you do that. But I still think, whether I agree with it or not, I'm not going to argue it, but whether I agreed with it or not, I still think that they, after picking him with a second overall pick in the draft, are going to want to give him the rest of the season before they make their final decision. And I know that could be, I know that's frustrating, but I just think that's the reality. I'm just telling you what I think that the franchise will do. What I think Saleh, JD, I think their decision will be, we're going to play this kid the rest of the year. I think most people know that if you've been listening to them. They're going to just keep playing him. But if he plays this poorly, I mean, more times, I mean, if he's not much better than this, I don't see how they can go into year 3, because now we're starting to waste the talent, because now you're starting to burn out those rookie contracts. I cannot see, unless he makes a dramatic turnaround, I can't imagine that we would do that and keep him at quarterback if he keeps playing the way he played 2 out of the last 3 games. I know he played well against Buffalo. He didn't light it up. He didn't throw for 300 yards. He didn't carry the team. He managed the game. But, man, anytime you need him to do more than manage the game. I mean, the last 2 out of that's 2 games against New England, man, we can't ignore how ugly it was. It was just so ugly. Yeah, I don't think this season's over. We can go beat Chicago next week. Quite feasible. I mean, we can't just jump off a bridge and lose all reason. The first time we lost to New England, we went into Buffalo. We went to home against Buffalo. We all thought we were going to lose, and we won. So if we beat Chicago and suddenly we're 7-4, it's not the season. I think what's upsetting is we could have been in front of the division. Now we're at the bottom of the division. I think what's upsetting is we continue to lose to the New England Patriots, and that we don't seem to be able to win big games. And most of all, I mean, the really most upsetting part is it doesn't look like we solved this issue with quarterback. I mean, it's been 40 years for me, guys. And every time we get a good one, they either get hurt. Every time we draft one, they're a bust. I mean, it just doesn't end. Why can we not get a quarterback on this team that's young and is here for years? I just don't understand. Zach Wilson and LaFleur play calling cost us the game. Well, I think I already read that out, right? Yeah. Yeah, man, it's pretty bad. You know, the 4th and 3, and then give it to Ty Johnson or whatever. I don't understand. You got Michael Carter and you got James Robinson, and you're bringing this other guy in to play, and I just don't understand. He should be a guy if somebody gets hurt, and that's it. Why do we have to play with our 3rd stringer for no reason when you have your 1 and 2? It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's hard. I can't come up with an excuse for today because the wind, no pass protection. You know, Mac Jones was sacked how many times? He was playing in the same weather. Look at his numbers. You just got to, yeah, we can't make excuses. I mean, it's got to stop the excuses. And I'm guilty. I sat here and for a year and a half, I've been making nothing but excuses for this kid. And I cannot do it today. And I can't make excuses for why he came into the press conference and said, no, I don't think that I let the defense down. That's what he said. So he can't even take ownership of the fact that he sucked crap today. At least, you know, Josh Allen was able to do that. Can Zach Wilson please say that? Can he get up and say, I sucked today? I was absolute shit. And I'm sorry to my team. I'm embarrassed to my team because I cost them a huge game. Can he say that? No, he doesn't. He didn't, did he? And that's disgusting to me. Because if he doesn't know that he didn't play like absolute garbage and crap, then that's a bigger problem than the way he played. Because he played like crap. Nobody can defend how he played today. I mean, we could argue left and right. Some people still believe in him. He's going to be fine. He's going to be great. Don't be mad at him. There were other things. Like, it doesn't matter what you argue. No one could say that he didn't play horribly today. No one could say it was other factors. There is no excuse. Okay? There is no excuse. I don't care how windy it is. I could throw a 10-yard pass to any one of you in your chest. I do it every day when I play with the students. He was standing there looking at Mims across 10 yards from him on the sideline and couldn't throw the ball to him. Elijah Moore was wide open, and he throws a ball that bounced 10 yards before him. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because I bought 2 of his jerseys. I wear his jerseys. I was wearing it when he did it, and I've been defending him and defending him and defending him. And he's been doing nothing but making me look stupid, and I'm tired of looking stupid. So now I'm going to look like the smart people and say, he sucks. He sucks. We took a shot, and he sucks. The kid sucks. I understand he played good against Buffalo. I understand it, and he did. But look at the overall performance. He sucks. And I hope I'm wrong that that's a permanent thing and that he can't be good in this league. I hope that's not true. I hope next week he lights it up for 350 yards and he's amazing. And I hope the following week he lights it up again and he's amazing. And I hope that and everybody comes back to me and says, you said he sucked, you gave up on him, and now he's good. And I'll say, maybe that's what it took. Maybe it needed me, Jets Chaos, Jeremy. Maybe I needed to give up on this kid and say he sucks for him to finally be good. Maybe that's what's going to lift the curse. But I cannot sit there and defend him anymore. And I cannot say he's good anymore because he is by far the worst quarterback in the NFL. And he's not the 32nd best quarterback in the NFL. He's like the 37th or 38th. And that's the hard part to swallow. That's a worry. It's a concern, especially when he sits there and says that it's not that he didn't let anybody down. Because if I was on the defense, I'd be so pissed at that. I'd be like, what? You didn't let anybody down. We played our asses off and you sucked. Can't throw a football. You have to sit Zach. You have to sit down. His regression is scary. He needs to be held accountable. Yeah, they're not going to, though. We could argue all day whether they should, but they're not. And that's why it's hard to talk about, because they're just not going to sit him down. Saleh screwed up bad today by not benching Zach Wilson after the third quarter. I agree. They should have sat him down. They should have said they could have started next week. They could have just recognized that today was not his day, but they didn't do that. Zach got worse each quarter. He did. He kept getting worse. Man, and that happens to him. When things don't go his way, he just melts down. There's a time and place for everything, and it came and went. Yeah, look, we could have won that game. We just needed to get somebody else in there because we didn't need a great quarterback. We just needed somebody who's capable of throwing a 5-yard pass to open receivers, and Zach could not do that today. It was absolutely one of the most atrocious things I've ever watched. And I'm a Jets fan, so that says a lot. What if the Patriots adjust the team that has Zach's number? I am kind of hoping that. I'm hoping he comes out and crushes it the next couple of games. And maybe this is it's going to be a New England hurdle he has to get over. Because Belichick is not going to be around forever. He's getting very old. And New England's not going to do much. So he might leave, and then it's going to be a newly coached team. And maybe we get over that hurdle that way by Belichick just being gone. NC V-Man. Everybody's fighting over the name V-Man now. Isn't it time to put Mims back on the bench? How does an NFL receiver drop a pass right into his hands? Why did Mims jump to try and catch it? Yeah, I can't even defend it, dude. I don't know. I don't know how he drops that pass. I really don't. I don't know what it is about this team and the drop passes. I don't understand why they can't catch. And that one that you can't blame on Wilson. It's not like he didn't take anything off. I mean, you cannot have thrown that pass better. He threw a perfect pass right into his receiver's chest. I mean, it was a handoff. So I don't know. But Mims did come back and make a very good play to try to make up for it. So, again, we're not going to take that away. But it was a disgusting way to start the game, and it seems like it's haunting us. By the way, if you're not subscribed to the channel, I am 7 subscribers away from 2,000. I've got until Saturday. That's 6 more days. I would love to get to 2,000 today because today is a shitty day, guys. I'm miserable. And if I could hit 2,000 subs today, at least I would have something to be happy about. And I know there's some people watching right now that have not subscribed to this channel. It's just simply clicking a button. But then again, You have to like the content. So if you don't, I can't argue. If you don't like the content, if you don't want to ever see me again, I'm not going to sit there and tell you to sub because I'm not going to beg for a favor from a stranger. But if you like the show at all, if you've watched videos of my brother, me, any of it, any of my guests, if you ever enjoy the channel, I'm asking you now, then you could support me by hitting the sub button. Thank you. Billy SBC, what's up, my friend? Before anyone says a word, the Vikings are losing to the Cowboys 40-3 in the second quarter right now. Any given Sunday, guys. On to the next game. Yeah, look, we could beat Chicago. I'm not devastated in the sense that I don't think we could win. Like, I have every intention of I'm going to be right back in my same seat, this seat, watching in the same place, Green Bean Jets Nation and Green Bean Jet fan. And I'm going to be doing the watch party with him. And I'm going to have every bit of expectation that we win that game and go 7-4. And a 7-4 team has a very good chance to go to the playoffs. So no one's writing anything in. I am not. But I am upset because this was a big game and we could have been in first place in the division and now we're last. I'm also upset because nobody advocated harder for Zach Wilson than me. Nobody. I block people from the channel because I've gotten to fights with them because I get so mad they put down Zach Wilson. So that's why I'm devastated today. Because he came out and not only did he play so horribly, but he didn't even take accountability for it. It was the worst press conference he's ever had. The worst. Because he came out and said that he didn't let anybody down. And I don't see that to me was gross. Gross. I don't care how Zach addressed the media. I have to believe he sang a different tune in the locker room. I would hope so. But I don't understand why he wouldn't address the media that way. Why would he tell the media that he didn't let people down? He let people down. He let the fans down. He let people like me who bought his jersey down. I mean, he could, if he would, look, he's doing his best, right? So if he's not the guy and he's doing his best, it's nothing personal. But at least admit it. At least say, look, I'm sorry I played like crap. I'm sorry we lost the game because of me. At least say I played horribly today. I lost us the game today. At least say that. Because if you don't say that, you start to go down the path of looking like that guy who played for the Chargers years ago. The hell was his name? I can't believe I'm forgetting. He's the biggest bust in the history of football. But that's the way that guy was. That guy wouldn't take ownership or accountability in anything. The hell was his name? Why can't I remember his name? Somebody help me out here. Tigo. The hell was his name? Who's the biggest bust in the world? He played for the San Diego Chargers. The quarterback. The big bust that they had right before Ryan Leaf. Thank you, my friend. Isn't it funny? I just go right to Tigo because I know he's there and I know he knows. Zach Wilson blames the conditions. Yeah. Yeah, but somehow I guess Mac Jones had a tent around him that blocked the win because Mac Jones went 23 for 27. He's regressing. Yeah. I don't know what to say. I mean, like I can't like nobody can deny this. He'd have to play six out of 7 really good games to convince anybody he's actually gotten better. But it's not just like he can't be just game manager. Like, no, he has to show he's an NFL quarterback. He has to be able to drop back and throw a pass and not be a scared little boy. Because that's what he looked like today. A scared little boy who belongs in college football, not the NFL. I'm sorry, how many touchdowns did Mac Jones throw today? I don't know. Who cares? He went 23 for 27. If Zach would have done that, we would have won. If Zach would have done that, we would have won. There's no way you can deny it. Nobody played worse today. In the entire NFL, find a quarterback who played worse. There's no way. He had a horrendously bad game. I mean, you could sit there and say you still believe in him, Snowball, but don't sit there and defend the game he had. Mac Jones was the better quarterback today, and he was sacked 6-7 times. So there's no excuse. There's no more excuses. You want to watch? We'll watch the All-22 on Wednesday with Dom C if we can. I will show you the passes he made were horrendous. I mean, I can make these throws. You can make these throws. Every Jet fan in the parking lot, the tailgate could make those throws. Give me a break. It was so bad. He was so bad today. He was absolutely horrendous. You cannot defend him today. Not today. This is not a defendable game. This is a game where you have to say he sucked. And you can believe that he's great. And I'm glad if you do. I hope there are people out there that still believe in Zach Wilson. Because nothing in the world would be better for our organization if I'm wrong for stopping and not believing in him. Nothing would be better for the Jets than for Zach Wilson to become the guy. Nothing would be better. But you cannot say, you cannot make excuses, and you cannot say he wasn't absolutely garbage today. Because he was garbage today. And there's no excuse for it. There just simply is not an excuse. There's no way. Watch the game back and tell me what you're smoking. He was horrible today. Horrible. Zach had a bad game, but the defense had us infuriated as well at times with the terrible tackling. Yes, the defense had some terrible tackling, and there were some guys. Like Alexander was hot and cold. Made some great plays. And then made horrendously bad plays with the tackling. Horrendous. But it didn't cost us the game. The point was they recovered. They recovered. Right? I mean, no one's perfect the whole game. No one's saying that you have to be. It's okay for our defense if it had bad moments. And New England did good things against us. That's okay. It's the NFL. The Chicago Bears in 1985, one of the most dominant defenses ever, had bad games. Dan Marino threw all over them and they lost. It's okay, right? And there was some missed tackling, and that annoys the hell out of us. I agree. We were so agitated. But at least they made plays. They compensated. They made plays. Quincy Williams had bad plays, but he had great plays. Zach Wilson didn't do anything. Nothing. Nothing. He didn't. Oh, he ran for a first down, I think. He had a couple of good runs. And look, guys, and Billy was there. He'll tell you. Anybody who was there today at the watch party knows. I root for everything Zach does. I give him credit for everything he does. He ran for 7 yards, and Green Bean's like, oh, my God, I hate when he does that. I said, yo, he got 7 yards, man. Like, I defend him, and I look for everything positive I could possibly suck out of Zach Wilson. Because nobody has put them out their necks out more for him. How many times in the last year and a half have I put my neck out for him in front of you guys? I have publicly went on to say he's going to be a superstar. I've talked about his eliteness. I've compared him to Josh Allen. Right? No one believes in him more than me or believed in him more than me. No one's taking this harder, or I'm not saying, okay, that's not true. Publicly. What content provider was in love with Zach Wilson as much as me? Right? Maybe as much, but no one more. I was the Zach Wilson guy. Maybe by Wednesday I will be again. I don't know. But right now, there's no possible way I could think of anything good about him. Yeah, I mean, that's right. Sam Darnold threw interceptions and saw ghosts and all that stuff, but he completed passes, man. Jimmy, you don't give ML a free ride. But that was on Zach Wilson. The game had time and froze, second-guessed himself. You know, I don't think LaFleur had a great game. It's impossible to say he did, obviously. But I don't feel the anger that I towards LaFleur as much, because I don't know, when you think about our offensive line and how beat up it is, and the fact that because of that, when you have like freaking Feeney in there, that you're not going to be able to establish a running game, and you have Zach playing that bad, what do you do? The only thing I wanted him to do was more quick slants, but as people pointed out, Tigo pointed it out on the postgame show, he wasn't hitting the passes, so they couldn't trust him. He was going to, if you have him throw too many slants, he'd throw an interception. You know? What's up, mess? Man, I am still stuffed from that Burger King. I don't know if for those of you who are watching, I ordered Burger King at halftime, and man, I overdid it. I ate a Whopper and the chicken royal sandwich with the sauce and cheese. And then after the game, I was so depressed. They sent 9 chicken French fried fingers, chicken tender things, and I ate those. And now I'm paying a price, man. There's not enough heartburn medicine in the world to stop heartburn from that kind of shit. Well, friends, I trust JD. Whatever decision he makes about Zach Wilson, I'll support. Yeah. And that's what I think. I think he'll play out the rest of the year, and we're going to make a decision about him. And if he plays this bad and he's missing passes and he's not accurate, there's no way they're staying with him. I mean, we're burning through the career of people. They're all gonna have to be paid. I mean, we next year we have to go in with a quarterback who's competent, and hopefully Zach will play great the rest of the way and get much better and give us reason to believe he could be the guy. But if not, there's going to be a guy named Jimmy G, and he's going to be out there. I thought Milan sucked too at first. Well, Eli didn't suck that bad though, bro. Eli always, at least the Giants were able to be a passing team right from the start. I mean, the guy would throw and complete passes. So, I mean, I don't remember Eli being this bad. Can we get a like? Chaos has a heart, unlike the subject today. Thank you. A like would be good. It helps bring people into the chat. Again, if you're here and you haven't been here, or you've been here a little bit, but you haven't subbed because I don't have to sub. He pops up. I see this bald guy enough or whatever. If you like the content, just hook up another Jet fan and give me the sub. I'm almost at 2,000. I really want to get there by Saturday because my goal was actually 1,000 when I first started the channel. Almost a year ago, 358 days ago, or 359 days ago, I said, I hope in the first year I can get to 1,000 subs, and then I won't feel like a failure. But when the opportunity came that I could actually hit 2,000 subs within the first year, naturally you extend your expectations, kind of like we did with the Jets, right? We all would have been happy with 9 wins this year, but now we're not. Now we want more. It's the same thing. I extended my expectations. I really want to get to 2,000. If you like the content and you're not subbed and you're listening, please hit the little subscribe button on my page. It's the best way you could support me. One good year in college with a crazy good O-line and soft schedule. Green Bean was right. We should have traded down. You know, I can't argue. Right now is not the day I can argue that point. It's just not. I suggest before anybody says anything, you go check the score of the Vikings-Cowboy game right now. I don't know what that means. Okay, so maybe Kirk Cousins is capable of playing a bad game. But we know Kirk Cousins is a million times better than Zach Wilson, right? I mean, we're not going to sit there and try to say Kirk Cousins was never as bad as Zach Wilson. Like his rookie year, he wasn't as bad as Zach Wilson. I don't think he was playing his rookie year, but he was never this bad, was he? So I understand on any given day, but this is 2 out of the last 3 games, and I keep making excuses for Zach. I hope he's the guy. No one wants to be wrong more than me. I promise you, this is what I'm not one of these guys that's going to now be mad when Zach does well. Or if Zach comes out and has a great game against Chicago, you're not going to see me say, well, it doesn't count at Chicago. No. I'll be really happy. I may even be back on the Zach train. You know what I mean? Because I'm an emotional guy. So let's get that straight. I am a Jet fan above all else. I don't give a shit about being right or wrong when it comes to the Jets winning or losing. I want everybody in the Jet uniform to play amazing. I want Zach Wilson to light it up and make me look like a total piece of shit. Okay? I want to look like shit. Make me look dumb, Zach. Put it in my face. I will give you the receipts. Or take the receipts, or however you're supposed to say it. Happily. But I can't sit here and pretend that I'm not upset, and I'm not doubting Zach Wilson, and I'm not starting to think that we're going to have to find another solution at quarterback. I can't say that. I'll lie. I'm lying if I don't say that. I'm lying if I don't say it. And one thing I promise everybody that watches me, you know this, I promise that I'll always tell the truth, and I'll always be honest. And the truth is, I feel like Zach Wilson's not the guy now. I've lost faith. I hope I'm wrong. There's a difference. I'll never root against him. I'm not one of these guys that will celebrate and scoff. I'm going to be, if he's horrible next week, I'm not going to say, I told you. No, I'm going to be upset, even more upset. And if he has a great game next week, I'm going to say, oh, maybe there's hope. Maybe there is hope. Maybe he could do it again the following week and make me start believing again, for real. But it was such a bad game today. It was so bad. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to defend it. You know what I mean? There's just no way to defend it. He was just so bad today. Is there any other way to say it? He was so bad. It was so ridiculous how bad he was. It's sad, but the big picture looks good. But I don't know if Zach will be here. Yeah, the big picture is still good. That's a good point, because I was thinking about it today. I said, when I go on later, I have to remember not to get too lost in my depression and my being upset, my aggravation. And I have to remember to point this out. We're 6-4. I did not expect to be 6-4 when the year started. We have one of the top defenses in the NFL. Our defense is absolutely fantastic. We have like gazillions of defensive edges. I've never, it's like a dream. I mean, there's Huff and JFM and Carl Lawson and Michael Clemens and who am I forgetting? I mean, it just never ends. It never ends. And then Quinnen is so good, man. Quinnen Williams is so good. Right? I mean, this defense is so good, and it's only getting started. They just went from the worst to first or close to it. Right? We're only getting started. For as long as Salah's the coach, I have this feeling that, and JD is putting talent in there, that's something we could look forward to for years. We could be a top defense in the NFL for years, and that's a great thing because that's always going to make us a contender. We're always going to have a chance when the defense is that good, right? And then that's what's so disappointing about the Zach thing, because if he just had worked out, then we're done. Just stay healthy. I believe that healthy, fully healthy, everyone that's on our roster on the IR, everybody combined, healthy, and then developed over the next couple of years, I think we're already there. I do. But the injuries are horrendous. And Zach Wilson is now making me really question the last year and a half of everything I thought about him. I thought he was so talented. I thought he had the best arm. And I don't understand what's happening to him. I thought, like how could he be so good against Buffalo? How could he be good in the other games he was good in all the games he was able to complete passes, and then just not be able to play the game today? I don't understand it. But then again, Kirk Cousins is not having a good game, is he? Somebody keeps reminding us, SBC, he's not having a good game. Josh Allen had a horrible game against us. So is this what is happening? Is he just hitting a little skid in his career? He's a little up and down. I don't know. But I can't make excuses for today. He was really bad today. Plenty of quarterbacks who had great arm talent. Yeah, I know. To me, Jeff George never really worked out, right? Drew Bledsoe never really worked out to how good he was supposed to be. These guys had great arms. Jamarcus Russell, Raiders, I think. He was a huge bust. Had a great arm. So I just don't know what to say. The real rock, Zach missed wide open receivers by 10 yards. Also had 2 picks dropped. It was dreadful. I can't, there's no arguing it. It's exactly right. That's what he was today. We can't deny it. We got to stop denying it as a fan base. Got to just accept it. And it doesn't mean I'm still okay with people who believe he's going to come back and be good. I'm okay with people like that. I'm not going to attack them and say, wake up, man. I'm not like that. I want them to be right. I just lost faith, guys. I can't do it anymore. I can't sit here and pretend and lie. I don't believe in him anymore. After watching that, I just don't believe in him. And I hope he proves me wrong. I hope that's it. Maybe that's the curse. Maybe I'm the curse. Maybe the second I stop believing in them, that's when he'll be good. I hope. Defense gave up 3 points and upset. Yeah, man, I'm happy with the team overall. I know that. I'm upset because of the loss. But when it's put in perspective, when you put the whole season in perspective, this has been amazing. The fact that we could be upset over this, so upset because it was such a big game, is amazing. We haven't had this in a long time. Like, it's really an amazing thing. We're going to be a competitive team. We're going to be angry when we lose now because we're good. Last year, the last 2 years, 5 years, 6 years, we didn't give a shit if we lost games 10, 11 of the season. It didn't matter because we sucked. This is the first time it's mattered. So good. And overall, we're good. But it's going to be really, really hard. It's really, really hard. Yeah, we're going to have to agree to disagree on this one. Mac Jones was more successful than Zach Wilson. They outplayed us. Like, if you're a New England fan, let's just leave it at that, and you're a Jet fan, New England fans are not nearly as upset with Mac Jones as we are with Zach Wilson. And I'm not saying Mac Jones is having a good year. He's not. But today's performance, they're frustrated in things other than Mac Jones, right? I mean, come on. There's no comparison of the two quarterbacks today. Mac Jones was able to throw a pass. Zach Wilson couldn't throw a pass. I mean, he did. He threw a couple. He hit Denzel Mims, and Denzel Mims missed it. He completed some passes. Okay, so he hit some. He also threw 2 footballs directly into the chest of the other team. 2 passes that should have been interceptions. 2 picks today. Mac Jones didn't do that. He protected the ball. He managed the game. He was more successful. Doesn't matter if he had the same amount of points. He was more successful than Zach Wilson because he gave them a chance to score. Zach Wilson did not give us a chance to score. So I have to disagree with you, Snowball. Now, I love Zach Wilson. I do. I didn't suddenly stop loving him. My heart is broken right now. That's a problem. But look, I have 2 of his jerseys. I wear it every game. You know this. But you got to be honest. He played like crap today, and he didn't outplay him. Nobody in the world would say that Zach Wilson and Mac Jones were the same quarterback today. I'm sorry. That's crazy. Watch the game over and tell me how you could say that. Mac Jones was throwing the ball to his guys. He wasn't missing by 10 yards. He played better. Yeah, the results, they didn't score, we didn't score. Okay, fine. But he played better. 2 quarterbacks could play for a team. Both their teams could score 0 points or 3 points, and you could still say one played better than the other. Because it's the truth. I mean, it's just the truth, man. Watch the replays. Are you going by the box? I mean, well, whether you go by the eye or the box score, there's no arguing it. Mac Jones was the better quarterback today. He was 23 for 27 or something like that. He was accurate. He gave his guys a chance. His receivers had a chance that maybe they could break away. Do something. He got them first downs. They were able to move the ball. Their field goal kicker missed 2 field goals. Otherwise, they won 9-3 anyway. So don't tell me that, man. You can't do that. We have to be honest about today's game. I mean, I didn't think I'd be arguing with anyone about today's game. I mean, you could sit here all day and say, oh, you're being crazy. It's one game. Zach played great against Buffalo. Jeremy, you're nuts. He's only in his 23rd game. Calm down. He's going to be fine. Say all of those things. But don't sit there and tell me that today wasn't a disaster. Today was a disaster, man. You can't do it. There's no fan. I mean, they can watch a football and know anything about the NFL and say that that wasn't a tremendously disgusting game for a quarterback. He was horrible. You could see the open Osama, whatever his name is, the 87 running across the screen wide open. And Zach looking at him and not throwing the ball and getting sacked. You saw it happen in front of your eyes. How can you say he didn't play horribly? Come on, he played like crap. And I hope he plays better next week. And I hope this is the worst of it. And I hope for every week, the rest of his career, he proves how stupid I am. Please do it. Nobody wants him to do it more than me. Make me look horrible. I want this show to be held against me forever. That's how great I want Zach Wilson to be, because I, above all else, am a Jets fan. I am above all else as a Jet fan, and I will always root for everybody in a Jets uniform to succeed, no matter what I said about them. Maybe Matt O'Leary, you guys were neck and neck on your Zach love. Yeah, Matt loves him too, right? He's not feeling good today. Mac Jones made decent throws. Yeah, and I'm not a Mac Jones. Like, I'm not thinking Mac Jones is going to be very good. I think that New England's going to have to draft a quarterback again. If you ask me, I don't think Mac Jones is the guy. But, you know, he played better today. I mean, by what? I can't find a measure in the world. I can't find a measure in the world that would point to Zach Wilson as being better than Mac Jones today. If you go by today's game. If we had Mac Jones on our team, we would have won today. I believe that. Why? Because he's able to throw 10, 15-yard passes to his guys. Why was Ty Johnson in there? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we thought Michael Carter or James Robinson was hurt. We said one of them is hurt. And they're not at 100%. Like, there has to be an explanation. I don't know the answer to the question. I don't know what these guys are thinking. Like, why was Ty Johnson in there? I don't know. But I will say, and Tigo said it, and it's true. Ty Johnson was open on that pass play. He was open. Our quarterback couldn't do it. Our quarterback couldn't get the ball to him. Our quarterback wasn't good enough on that play. Wasn't good enough on a lot of plays. Under 100 yards. Yeah, I mean, whether you look at the stats, whether you look with your eye test, I mean, there's no argument that Zach was good today. I mean, I'll argue games where people say he wasn't good. The Denver game, I'll argue on Jack's behalf for that game, the Denver game, and the Green Bay game. Because in those games, he saved us 10 sacks. He was running around like a lunatic. He kept us alive. I'll defend him to the bone on those games. We don't win those games without him. I don't care what the stat line said. But today, that's not the case. Today was awful, whether you look at the stat line or you look with your eyes. Awful. Even Dom C was able to tell enough and able to see enough. And I always trust him. And he was in the chat saying, this is ridiculous. These guys are open. I mean, you cannot defend Zach Wilson, guys. You can't. If he was a Miami Dolphin, I mean, you got the same guys that are still defending Zach Wilson. Two is trash. How could you defend? How could you defend Zach Wilson right now and be somebody who said that Tua was trash? Like, how could that be? Because Tua is so much better than Zach Wilson. It's not even funny. I would trade Zach Wilson for Tua in a snap. The only hesitation I would have is that I think Tua is always a tackle away from his career being over. Like, and that's a sad thing. I'm not making light of it. It's an awful thing. But Tua is much better than Zach Wilson until Zach Wilson proves otherwise. All right. Anybody who says that they think Zach Wilson is better than Tua needs to buy a football for dummies or something. I don't know what to tell you. Second, we have special teams. Yeah, look, we may have won the game. Snowball, but it doesn't matter. That doesn't bail Zach out of how he played. The game ended, and all we have to look at is the way Zach played, and he played horrible. Jeremy, I've subscribed to your channel using all 12 of my burner accounts. You're doing a great job. You're great. Did you just do that now? Like, did you just get me to 2,000? Or did you already? I'll check. But thank you. I don't know if I should be happy or sad. I mean, because I was kind of hoping that the 1,993 subscribers were all real subscribers. But I'll take it, NCV man. I'll take it, and I'll never make you angry because I could lose 12 subscribers all at once, and that would be awful. Then we won't make the playoffs. Oh, okay. I'm late behind the chat. I love you, Snowball. I got to say, I love you. You know I love you. But I just can't agree with your take today. Like, I just can't do it. You know what I mean? I hope you're not too mad at me about it. But I'm sorry. I can't get on board with that. Zach was – I mean, I think the one thing I thought we could all agree, whether we still believe in Zach or not, the one thing I thought we could all agree on is that he played really bad today. That I thought was a given, If Zach sucks in the first half next week, it should be White or Strevel, or maybe one of them will surprise us. Yeah, if we're the coaches, right? So I'm not arguing saying you're wrong, but if you ask me if I think our coaching staff would do it, my answer is no. Like, I don't think they're going to bench Zach Wilson. They're going to let him play the 7 games and let it play out and see who he is. With Kirk Cousins, we would have won. It's hard to argue anything. I mean, can't imagine a quarterback being worse than he was today. Because even if you said, well, he could have been worse, he could have thrown a couple of interceptions. Well, he kind of did. He threw 2 interceptions today. But New England gave us 2 gifts, and they dropped it. If you want to win the game, start Flacco. If you want to develop a quarterback, you're going to have to live with the ups and downs. Today was a down. Yeah. I hope there's more ups though, because it's hard, man. It's hard to see it. It's hard to see it. Sean wants to sit him right now. I'm hoping it's just a Belichick thing. You know? Yeah, you know what, Sam? You know why I'm with you on one thing, Sam? You know, when I read this chat, when I read this message that you said, the problem was I didn't see any slants either, and that pisses me off. Everything was vertical. I agree with everything you're saying. The other thing, and you're probably with me on this, buddy, is I know my luck as a fan. The second we give up on Zach, you see what Gino's doing now? One day that'll be Zach. So that also is a thing. Like if we gave up on Zach, he's going to go somewhere else where they actually give him a less complicated offense and they give him some quick slants and ins and outs, and he's going to be great. Because one of the things I think is I notice is that when Zach gets rid of the ball within like under a second and a half, like quick throw, he's actually really good. When he gets the ball snapped and then quickly passes the ball, he's good. He throws dimes. So I don't understand why they refuse to call the offense like that. Let the kid just get rid of the ball. Design plays that have him release the ball right away. Like no thinking. You're doing it. Elijah Moore is cutting to the middle of the field. You were snapping the ball and you were throwing it to him. And that's it. And we live with the consequences. At this point, that's better than what we're seeing. Zach with a full 17 games, less than 55% completion and more interception than touchdowns. If he has a winning record, it's the D, not his wins. So you can't argue any of this right now. There's just no arguing this stuff. These are all realities. It doesn't mean he can't be good eventually. I think it probably took Peyton after that first year time to get his touchdowns above his interceptions. But it's a reality. You can't argue with when people say facts. You know, when you state statistics that are true, you can't really argue with them. Zach will never win a big game. He's not the guy. I don't know. Maybe he'll just never win a big game against New England. Or maybe Belichick will retire in a year or two and we'll never have to worry about it again. Can't call a slant when Zach threw one straight. Yeah, but that was one pass. Right? And that was after he was very frustrated. What if they started the game just throwing slants? Maybe it would have went better. They'll give Zach the rest of the season. If it doesn't work out, they'll probably bring someone in like Teddy Bridgewater back here. I don't think Teddy Bridgewater, if they have to bring in a veteran back here, they're going for Jimmy G. Second would be Derek Carr if he's available. Like we're going to clear money somehow, and we're going to figure out the cap or restructure. We're going to do something if Zach's not the guy. If we play out the season and Zach is just clearly not the guy, they will go for Jimmy G because it makes so much sense. Because right away Jimmy G comes in and plays the offense. He knows exactly how the offense runs. There's no adjustment. You know what I mean? He just plays. He's just there. We get a veteran quarterback who knows how to play. I'm hoping to God that somehow Zach just plays well. You know, that Zach is the guy. Miguel, what's up? We need a new quarterback. That's plain and simple. Miguel is right to the point. I don't know if I'm 100% there yet, but I don't know. I don't know, guys. I really don't. I just know he played really bad today, and I'm losing faith. Defense has been carrying this team. Yeah, but look, the good news is it's only the second year of this regime, and we already have a top NFL defense. So think about what that's going to mean for the years to come. That means we're always going to be competing in games. SBC Teddy would be good once the OL gets going. I don't know about Teddy, guys. Come on. Jimmy G got to a Super Bowl with this exact system. How is he not the guy you want? He went to an NFC championship game last year. He got to the Super Bowl a few years before that. And he's starting to roll this year, and we'll see how he does this year. That's the guy you want. And San Francisco got no choice. They have to kind of let him go because what are you going to do? They traded 3 first-rounders for this other kid. So they really have no choice. They can't hold on to him anymore. Because the bad offensive play will be 9-8 this year. Let's not go there. Let's not start saying we're going to be 9-8. I'm beginning to realize that it's more realistic to say 10 than 11 or 12, obviously. We could still get to 10 wins, guys. We could still do it. We could rebound and beat Chicago 7-4 and no one will be doubting that we can get to 10 wins. That would be 3-3 the rest of the way. Kind of sad the Jets fans didn't see the writing on the wall. People are kind of right. We are delusional. Well, we're all fans are delusional about their own guys, right? I mean, all fans are delusional about their own guys. We all see it in the best possible. We all see what we want to see. You know? We all see what we want to see. Young team. I'm the biggest victim of it, dude, or I'm the biggest culprit. I mean, nobody made more of a fool of himself. You guys are letting me off the hook. Nobody is rubbing it in my face and throwing it in my face saying, hey, Chaos, what happened? What happened to your boy, Zach? Because nobody ran his mouth about Zach Wilson being a great future quarterback than I did. The talent is still all there. No one can say he isn't talented. It's about putting it all together. We've seen insane athletes not work and insanely bad athletes work. Yeah, I mean, look. I mean, it's not invented. It's not like fake, play in college. Like the throws were real. The way he threw the ball, the strength that he throws the ball, even what we saw last year and sometimes this year, the throws are real. It's about, does he have the mental capacity to play in the NFL? Can he process? Can he read defenses? Can he do it? And then there's just the mental thing, the confidence and not playing scared. He played terrible. He was terrified today. I've never seen somebody so afraid. He was terrified. You want an example of a player playing scared? Look at Zach Wilson in today's game. George had a cannon. You talk about Jeff George, right? Yeah, he had a cannon. He did. If we were all as good as our arm strength and arm talent, Jeff George would have been one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Why didn't Salah challenge the fumble that would have put us up 7-0? I don't know. But a lot of people, even Jet fans in the watch party with me and Green Bean, were saying that it wasn't a catch. I thought it was from my little look, but I'm not pretending to be an expert on the rule. But it is frustrating. The writing on the wall was there since last year. About Zach, yeah, but I thought he was young enough. I mean, I don't believe that you can judge a quarterback in 1 year. You know, even now it's like it's early and I'm kind of doing it, but I can't help it. It's my gut feeling. It's my feelings. It's not me deciding to give up on Zach. I can't control my feelings, but I'm starting to feel like he's not the guy. And I know it's only his second year, but man, this bad? You know, I didn't expect it to be this bad. He doesn't look like an NFL quarterback. Yeah, he looked like a guy selling popcorn. Hey, you want to play quarterback? Okay. Remember that movie, Heaven Can Wait? It's like, you know, somebody else went into his body and said, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know, man. Zach Wilson's going to have the game of his life next week. Like to give me any kind of hope. Zach's pompous attitude post-game was Salt and Owen. Yeah, that's the name of this. If those of you were wondering about the title of this live show, that was the second thing that I was referring to. That Zach wasn't only bad on the field, but his press conference was a slap in the face to everyone. Worst press conference of his career by far today. Heard the Sauce fumble that there was a problem with the replay booth. Well, that's kind of annoying and agitating. There was also a penalty on that last play, but none of us care because we were all so upset already. And it was so stupid that we punted the ball like that. Like it's absolutely the dumbest thing in the world that we didn't punt it out of bounds, deep and out of bounds, or like that's the one thing you don't do is punt it line drive, 3.5 second hang time where they have plenty of time to set up a return. It's the only way you could lose that game and not go to overtime, and we did it. And if that wasn't the play and man did it by accident, he's got to go. Like, I'm so sick of it. That's right. Who here is still defending this fucking punter? He is the absolute worst punter in the NFL. I don't care. I'm so sick of it. Oh, well, he had 10 punts. He had 8 punts. Don't play. Look, nowhere in the world. When did it become acceptable that 1 out of every 6 punts is a fucking muff? Every 6th punt. Count it. He'll have 3 or 4 great punts. See, he's good. And then the 5th or 6th punt, 20 yards. How many bad punts can you have in a season until you realize you need a new punter? Like, I don't even understand how people are still defending this punter. He is the worst punter we've ever had. I've never seen a punter so bad. I've never seen a punter have so many bad punts in one season. You know why? Because every other NFL team cuts them and gets a guy who knows how to punt the ball. There's 1,000 literally people in this country that can punt in the NFL. I am not exaggerating, maybe 10,000. I'm not exaggerating. The problem with being a punter is you could practice your whole life and you could be great at it and never get a chance in the NFL because nobody's fucking looking for a punter. You don't think there's 100 colleges. You don't think there's more. In all those colleges and all those college games, you don't think there are punters who consistently just punt it every time, 45 to 50 yards every single time? And we get a punter that 1 out of 6 times punts it 20 yards and we still keep him? Why? Sign anyone. This guy sucks. It's amazing that people just still defend him. He's a shitty punter. I'm tired of losing games or hurting us or compromising our field position in games because of punter. Get a punter, guys. Why are we getting a punter? And why are people still defending Brayton Mann? He's a piece of shit. He's the worst. I'm sorry I had to let that out because, man, I cannot stand this punter. Greenbean every week is defending him. Not anything against Greenbean, but he says to me, no, man, he's good. He's good. Come on. He has one bad punt. One, like in a while, but no. I've watched football for over 40 years. I've never seen a punter muff so many punts in one season. How many bad punts has he had this season? You can't sit there and tell me it's normal. We're not talking about a 38-yard punt only. I'm talking about 20-yard punts, 15-yard punts. The guy does it every other game. Every other game he does it. We punt from the 30-yard line. He gets them at the 50. They get the ball. That's like a turnover. It's the easiest thing to fix. Cut him and hire a punter. Bring 3 guys into camp and take the one who punts it the furthest. For the love of God. Our field goal kicker last year, Amendola, was a better punter. Our field goal kicker was a better punter. He was. Look at the numbers. What the hell are we doing with punter? Everybody's in love with this kid. People don't want to admit we were wrong. He sucks. Jets defense top-notch. Zach Wilson may not be. Defense hope he can be. That's the Captain Obvious comment of the session, but I love you, man. Thank you. I appreciate your support, Best Bills channel or not. I look forward to collaborating with you again before the Bills game. Right now, it's not looking very good for us. It was cold and windy. The crowd was loud. Give Zach a break. I hope that's what it was. I do. I really do hope that's what it was. Because I want Zach to be great. As much as anyone. I will never turn to the point where I won't want him to do good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always going to want him to be great. I'm not going to give up on rooting for him. I'm just being honest and realistic. I love how we're all sitting here trying to fix Zach Wilson. Let me see. I saw a super chat. Here we go. Remember, guys, super chats are guaranteed to be read and you'll skip the line. I'm stealing that from someone. Jake, Greenbean, I don't know. We all say it. But thank you for the super chat, Chris K5. Chris K. I'm used to calling out his name when I'm backstage in Greenbean show. Very generous Jet fan. Appreciate you. Appreciate the support. The rookies taking more accountability than the captain is all I needed to see. Trade Zach for Skylar Thompson, and we have a chance. Yeah, but we're not going to do that because we can't start all over again. You know what I mean? But this is the amazing thing. Oh, so anyway, thank you so much for the super chat, Chris K. So I think I'd rather have Jimmy G. But look, the bottom line is, and this is the horrible, sad thing, is for the first time since we drafted him, I'm starting to realize that we might be a team that needs a quarterback. And that's the first time I've ever said that out loud, and it hurts to say. But it looks like that's the reality. Zach has 7 games left to prove it wrong. I hope he does. So we're only going to win games when the defense is 1,000% and the offense is basic. That's the problem. Hey, if our offense was 25th best, like if we were the 25th best offense in the league in a game, with the way the defense played today, we'd win every game. We just needed to not be the worst offense in the NFL, which is what we were today, or at least tied for it. Plus, how does he not kick it out of bounds? Kicks it right down the middle for 84. Yeah. And he kicked it down the field. The worst kind of kick. Like, it didn't have the hang time. It wasn't the high one where the guy catches it and people are there. So it was just a bad punt in every way possible. It was just an awful punt. And that's not even the punt I'm talking about, right? I mean, that was the dumbness, but that was also on the special teams coach. Like, they do call plays, punt plays. Like, it should have been called as to one of those out-of-bound punts. You know, you might get one of these Australian kickers that come in and say, I might play rugby and know how to kick ball, right? And you tell, and those Australian guys, if you tell them, kick it 40 yards to 45 yards and make it go out of bounds, they'll say, I might, no problem. And they go and they do it. Why is it so hard? I don't understand why they can't just go out and do that. So frustrating. But even if we go to overtime, you know, I mean, it still doesn't change what Zach did. I mean, look, if we won the game with a field goal, or the defense won the game, or if we would return the punt for a touchdown, my feelings would still be, I'd still be worried and be feeling that Zach wasn't the right guy. Right? But I'd be less sour because I'd say, well, he still won. We still found a way to win. You know? I see someone saying Derek Carr is our quarterback next year. I think he's a good second option, but remember, Jimmy G knows the system. Derek Carr does not. I don't think. I don't know what the Raiders run. What's compounding Zach's dog sheet play is his post-game comments. His lack of responsibility is devoid of leadership. That explains his mistakes. He doesn't have the football mind. Today, that Ablab, by the way, thank you for the super chat. Love you, brother. Love the support you give the channel. Can't thank you enough. I am with you on this in that it's very disappointing what he said in the press conference today, right? There's no defending it. It's absolutely awful what he said in that press conference today. When they ask you, do you feel you let the defensive down? The answer is, I feel like I let everyone down. That's what the answer was. I let everyone down. I let everyone down. The entire organization, the fan, everyone. Because I came out and I played like crap. That's the only answer. That was the only answer. No excuses. Come out. And then I have nothing against him because he's just a human being who's doing his best. I believe he's doing his best. He just needed to come out and say, I did my best. I promise. Like, I want everybody to know I am doing my best. I'm going to try to figure it out and learn from it, but I was horrible and I let everybody down. That's what he needed to say today. That's all he needed to say. And no one would criticize him from the press conference. Like, none of us would be criticizing anything other than his play. But now he gave everybody a whole new thing to criticize. So that was a silly, silly, silly thing. Now remember, and I will keep saying this because I agree with this. This is the thing of why all is not lost. Overall, in the big picture, things are still great for us. They are. Because remember, we were horrendous. Remember 4-13 last year? Remember before that with Adam Gase? We were nothing. We had no football. We were footballless. It was awful. By week 3 or 4, we knew it was over. And we had no football. And it sucked. Right? It was the worst. And now here we are in week 10 in the playoff hunt still. disappointed that we're not leading the division. Still, if we start winning now, with that last game against Miami could end up determining the division depending on how Buffalo does. Right? I mean, so all is not lost because our defense is insane. Our defense is really, really good. So all is not lost. But we're not going to sit here and pretend we're not upset about this game because losing to New England, I just can't fucking take this anymore. You know what I mean? It's like anybody, have a shit game against anybody, but not New England. We're better than this team, and we lost 2 games to them, and it's making me throw up. It's making me nauseous. It's making me nauseous. And today was the only day that was really like that for me, honestly. And maybe it's me. Maybe I didn't see it, buddy. You know, maybe I didn't see it. But honestly, today was the first day where I was nervous every time he took a snap. Every time he took a snap, I said, oh, shit, oh, shit, oh, shit. Because today was the first time I really watched him and said, oh, my God, he's really bad. Like where I felt it, where I've had no confidence in him today. I had no confidence in Zach Wilson today. By the time we got through into the second half, I was like, oh, my God, he's so bad. And that's why I'm in this state of mind right now. Because I just never – I mean, it's just so bad. I never even felt that way with Sanchez or Geno Smith. Like I never felt when they went backed up for a pass, I never felt so like nervous about something horrible is going to happen. Like this is the least confidence I've had in a Jets quarterback in my memory. Absolutely just horrendous. It was like torture. Every time we got the ball and we started our drive, it was like a torture chamber. Jimmy G does get hurt a lot. That is true. That is true. I hope that that's not the case, but I hope it's not the case. But part of me is scared of that too. The worst thing in the world is to waste talent. It's the worst thing in the world. But let's remember that Joe Douglas seems to be proving that he could keep bringing in new talent too. So, but it's the worst. There's nothing like wasted talent. And I hope that they figure Zach out real fast. Like, is he the guy or not? They're going to have to know by this year because we cannot keep wasting seasons trying to figure this out. Can Fitz come out of retirement? That would be funny, right? We can't sign Jamar. He wants like $50 million. We'd have to cut the whole team. There's so many guys we'd have to cut, like contracts we'd have to get rid of. I don't think Joe Douglas is not going to let this fly. He's cutthroat and will bring in competition next season. I hope you're right. I hope you're right, my friend. I hope you're right. They better at least give somebody else a chance. It better at least be a competition. Like if he doesn't get better this year, if he doesn't totally turn this around, and if he keeps playing this poorly, then we have to hope that they bring in competition. Like it can't just be, oh, we're just going to let this go on for next season too. Darnold took the blame, but you could tell he wanted to say his team sucks. I don't blame him, but Zach doesn't have that excuse because this team doesn't suck. You know, I mean, all he had to really do is, and Zach didn't even have to be great today. He just had to have 1 or 2 good drives. It would have been enough. 1 or 2 good drives would have been enough if he could have just done something. But he couldn't do it. You think he could be had, huh? Well, we'll see. Everything will unfold in due time. That's the beautiful thing. If people are still out there saying Zach is going to be a great quarterback, guess what? We're going to know. It will unfold in time. That's the beautiful thing about sports. It's not something we have to argue about forever. One day, the truth will come out through watching. We're just all trying to predict. But that's why we should never fight and argue and be mad at each other. Because we're all going to know who is right and who is wrong. What's the point of fighting about it? Overreacting because the quarterback is the worst quarterback in the NFL. I don't know. I don't see how we can consider. I don't know how we can consider being upset an overreaction. It's depressing. We just went from could have been first in the division to we're last in the division. We just went from Zach just had a great game against Buffalo to, Oh my God. He had like as bad a game as that a person could imagine. The only good thing about today was we didn't lose 44-0. Our defense is still awesome. That's the good news. The good news is that we have an awesome, awesome defense. And that's real. The defense is real. And that's a big deal because when the defense is real, it's a big deal because you can get the feel that you could win on even slipping on a peel. No, now I'm being stupid. But the truth is, I don't know what that was, guys. But the truth is, if your defense is that good, you're in every game. Right? So, and the truth is, if we got a guy like Jimmy G or Wilson or Derek Carr, if Wilson gets better, we're going to be really great. Because average quarterback play, the way the defense played today, a strong playoff team, if not more. There was a game with Sanchez against Buffalo where they had 300 yards rushing and lost 16-13 in overtime because Sanchez threw 4 interceptions. So there's been games just as bad. Other quarterbacks have played poorly too. Me neither, man. Me neither. Yeah, that was the hard part. We definitely beat ourselves today. I don't know if he was always making excuses. I think we were making excuses. The fans were making excuses. I don't know if Zach Wilson was making excuses until today. Up until today, I thought he was doing pretty good. He was taking accountability. I got to learn this and that. But, there's other problems on the team. I mean, our offensive line is pretty banged up. I think we would be better, even Zach would be better, if our offensive line wasn't so banged up. When we had Dan Feeney in there and some guy, I can't say his name. I mean, it's not the best situation. We got Dwayne Brown playing with a bad shoulder. It's not a great situation. You get Max Mitchell back in there healthy. You get Herbig back in there healthy. Then McGovern, you got Tom, and we get that completed, and then we get Corey Davis back in there. We're a much better team. And we're not even talking about AVT and Brees Hall because we know they're gone. Without injuries, we could have been really special because we're good and competitive in spite of all those injuries. But we might next week we might have both Max Mitchell and Herbig back. That's going to matter. That's going to matter. So the future is great. So, but he is making this offseason much harder because we're going to have to wonder and think about, is he our guy or not? What's up, Jacob Finnegan? Jacob Finnegan did something so funny. He sends me a message on Twitter and says, and it's not like he has a different name. It's the same name. And he says, I don't know if you remember me. I'm in your chat a lot on the YouTube channel. I was like, Jacob, do I remember you? You're like one of my OGs. You've been watching for a long time now. Of course I remember you. I enjoyed getting your Twitter messages, brother. Jeremy with the quote from A Bronx Tale. The worst thing in the world is wasted talent. Yeah. That was a great line, right? That was Robert De Niro, right? Yeah. When with the Mickey Mantle. Oh no, De Niro was the bus driver. It was that other guy, Sonny, right? That said that. Oh no, but Robert De Niro was the one that said wasted talent, right? So does Mickey Mantle pay your rent? Patriots are trash, but they beat Zach. The Patriots have a very good defense. We're not going to lie about that. Their defense is very good. Why couldn't Zach be out for the year? I would have rather had that than Brees out for the year. The only problem with that is then we wouldn't have known about Zach. Yeah, I don't think the problem with Strevler is he's only played against, fourth stringers in, practice squad, not even practice squad guys. Got most guys that got cut after those games, right? He played against the guys that mop up the preseason games. But he played well in Canada. He played well in those games. I like giving people a chance. I like success stories. But I don't think you're going to see him come in over Flacco and White. Like we're too close to the playoffs to play games like that. You know what I mean? But I'm glad that I hope Strebler sticks around, and we one day maybe we get to learn we get to learn more about him because it's interesting. He's interesting. It's not fair to other players on the team. I see this problem is I lose point of reference because I fall so far behind the chat. And I'm tired of the media talking about their ish because of one dude, Zach Wilson. Oh, about the Jets? They can say whatever they want about us. I don't give a shit anymore. Eventually we're gonna turn this thing around and we're gonna be awesome. I mean, we already turned it around to the point where we're a good football team with a great defense. I'm telling you guys, our time's going to come. I don't know how it's going to work out with Zach. It would certainly be easier if Zach would have worked out or he ends up working out. All of that's true. But I am telling you, our time has come. We are here. We've arrived. We are a football team in the NFL. And good things are going to happen over the next few years. I do not doubt that. I say that with complete conviction and belief and faith. We are heading the right direction. We have the right crew. We have the right general manager. This organization lost a tough game today. We had a horrible performance by a young quarterback we were very hopeful for today. He took a giant step back in our minds and our hearts. But at the end of the day, do not confuse that with that's the end for this organization. This organization has come a long way in a very short time, and it's only going to get better. We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. The question is, will it be Zach Wilson, or is that going to be another obstacle that we have to get around? So we're going to find out, but it's not looking good for him after today. It really isn't. At least in my mind, it's not. We blew it today. Kicker was horrible. O-line wasn't there. When you say kicker was horrible, you're talking about punter, right? Because our kicker did really good. This team is great. I think it is a great team. I do believe it's a great team. I believe we're so close. We're so young, and we got so much great talent. And we have so many injuries. Don't forget, AVT, Brees Hall, they're going to be back, and those are special players. They might be our two best offensive players, and they're out. Like, think about it. We're going to get those guys back. Man, I hope Brees Hall is as good as when he got hurt. I hope he comes back okay. That would be so awful for us if he's not, because he was going to be the best player we've had in a really long time. And then if we can get, the offensive line to block better and get better quarterback play, we're going to get more out of our wide receiver weapons. So, is this directed at me? Bro, you wasn't watching him before this game? You talking about Zach Wilson? Well, you know what? If you're talking about Zach Wilson, yeah, I was. I saw him play a really good game against Buffalo. I saw him play a really bad game against New England. And before that, everything in my mind was just a young quarterback that seemed to be getting a little bit better, that had a chance to become a real quarterback. And then the New England game happened, and I was worried like everyone else. He was pretty bad. And then the Buffalo game happened, and I was like, oh, my God, look how he responded. That's really good. And then today really concerns me. And yes, I'm starting to doubt him. And I admittedly, maybe I'll be the ones obviously if it doesn't work out, I will admittedly be one of the last people to catch on, because I know most people had already written off Zach Wilson and said he's not the guy. But what could I tell you? I'm not lying about it. I'm not hiding about it. I believed in the kid. I saw something in him, and I thought he was going to develop into a great quarterback. And now I'm starting to realize it's probably never going to happen. Remember, Zach will never be a good quarterback. He isn't a leader. He makes the same mistakes over and over. It's how it's starting to feel. That's why I'm depressed, Joe, because Joe knows. Joe knows how I felt about Zach. We've fought about it like crazy. Me and Joe have been bickering about Zach Wilson for a year and a half. And thank you, Joe, by the way, because you know what that means, Joe? That means you've been a supporter of my channel since the very beginning, and I appreciate you, brother. Explain how the whole team choked, please. Oh. I don't know. Honestly, switch Zach with 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. What's the outcome? Yeah, look. I mean, I think we've beaten that point to a pulp. There's no way we could have been worse today with another quarterback playing. It only could have led to a good thing. Stephen Angle the Grouch is in here saying Chaz Palmenter. I don't know what that means. But Steven is a hero. He's an American hero because he works for the post office. And it doesn't matter if it's snowing. It doesn't matter if it's 20 degrees below zero and windy. Steve Engel gets you your mail. Now, he might be laughing right now and saying, what are you, crazy? If it's 20 degrees and windy, 20 degrees below zero and windy, I'm calling in sick that day. But I'm going to say that he doesn't do that. I knew about Zach already because he showed me everything last season and the start of this. Now, look, you might be faster at evaluating quarterbacks, or it might just be you got lucky, meaning you can't judge a quarterback on 1 year. You decided to, and then you ended up being right, but that doesn't mean you were, with the information you had at the time, right, or you're better at evaluating talent. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I'm a Jet fan, so yeah, I'm rooting for him, and maybe my Jets fandom got in the way, freeway, Chris, but I can't help it. Like, I'm a Jet fan, and I watched his tape in college, and he looked good, and I got excited when he made good plays, and you know what I mean? And I had hope that he was going to get better. I thought he got better at the end of last season, and here we are. So you might be right. Don't you have a channel? I'm trying to think. Aren't you the funny guy? I think you have a channel. I think you have videos. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought maybe you do. And you were really funny. You were like going over the plays or something. The Buffalo game. I don't know. I don't know if I'm wrong or right. Let me know. But I think I know you. If you're the guy who makes those videos reviewing the game, you're a funny kid. You're good. I liked it. I laughed. And I watched it. It's not, I usually skip through videos. I'm bored. I'm this, I'm that. I'm ADHD. If you're the guy in that video that's doing those videos, man, I watched the whole thing. I liked it. I was laughing. Enjoyed it. We root for the Chiefs tonight. Thank you. I said that alongside. I said that and people thought I was nuts. And I said, we're not winning the AFC conference. Root for the freaking Chiefs because it's San Diego we have to worry about. Because we're going to be fighting them for a wild card. And people called me negative and bad vibes. Come on. I was realistic is what I was. This was the Jets' opportunity to change people's minds. And Zach wasn't having that. He loves to be the same old Jets. Well, he has nothing to do with the old Jets. But, when we lose, we're always going to hear that. Are we ever going to get rid of it? Like, I guess we're going to have to win a Super Bowl before we ever get out of this. We're the same old Jets. But it certainly sometimes it feels that way. But at 6-4 already, after going 4-13 last year, I'm still going to try to hold it together and not fall down into that place and not stick my head in the toilet and say it's the same old Jets. My heart's broken right now, guys. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not ready to say it's the same old Jets. What's the reality of JD working his way up the drafts? Draft a quarterback. There's about 5 to 6 good ones. If Zach Wilson sucks balls for the rest of the year, we might not have to trade up. We might be in the middle of the pack. Not every team's going to take a quarterback. So we might just wait like New England did for one to fall to us. Again, I don't think we're going to do that. I don't think we're going to start from scratch with the quarterback. I think if Zach stinks the rest of the way, and if Joe Douglas and the team and Saleh and LaFleur and they all get together and they say Zach is not our guy, I think we're looking at Jimmy G or Derek Carr or Bridgewater. Not popular with me. I wouldn't be happy about that one. But I think that's what would be happening. I think that's what we'd be looking at. I don't think we're drafting a quarterback, but I could be wrong. Maybe there's a guy they love and they'll say, if he slips to us, we're taking him. And then he slips to us. So you never know. Let's be realistic. The only one that didn't make it happen. Receivers with 0 separation and no run game. I don't know. We have to look because they were saying the receivers were open. Usually on TV watching a game, you can't tell, but we actually saw it. Like we were yelling at the TV, screaming because we were able to point to receivers that were open in the replays. So I don't know if we could use that excuse anymore. And the OL did not do well. We didn't have a running game. That made it harder for Zach, but it doesn't excuse the inaccuracy. So man, I hope that maybe it was mental. Maybe it's one little mental block that Zach Wilson gets over. Maybe he does brush it off. Maybe he does move on. Like young Foria is saying. Maybe Zach Wilson does it. Maybe he does it at any moment. Maybe it just clicks. Maybe he says, I don't give a shit anymore. And he just, you know what I mean? Maybe he says, I don't give a shit anymore. And he stops being afraid. And maybe everything changes. It's not impossible. LSU quarterback in second round. Maybe. You need a backup anyway, right? Even if Zach is the guy, how would it hurt to have a backup at least, right? And let him compete for the job. He was one interception away from a 0 quarterback rating. Oh my God. That can't be. Didn't he get like a 50 quarterback rating? You only lose like 14 for an interception. So that would be like 34. I've been a huge supporter of Zach, but he's got to win me back these last 7. Yeah, Jacob, I couldn't have said it better. I could not have said it any better. That's me. I've been a huge supporter of Zach, but he's got to win me back. He just lost me. And now he's got to win me back over the next 7 games. He's got to prove I'm with the group that needs to be proven wrong. He needs to go crazy over the next 7 games, get much, much better, do great things, and make me and every one of us that have given up on him raise our eyebrows and say, oh, maybe we were wrong. And I'm not, some will say, oh, next season he'll stink too. Let's see it. I'm not going to be like that because everybody knows I try to be positive. If Zach starts playing really well, I'm going to be positive and I'm going to believe and get pumped up again because that's what I do. And I think as a YouTube content provider, that's what you should want. Because do you really want to come on here and listen to somebody just say, we suck, there's no hope, he sucks, Zach will never be good, we suck, we're never winning a Super Bowl? Or do you want to have a content provider who, and I'm not lying, I'm not saying it because it's what you want to hear, it just happens to be who I am, which was part of the reasons why I do this. Because I think that being a YouTube content provider involves being a positive fan. That's going to help talk other fans off the cliff and say, hey, don't give up. We still got this. I feel like that's kind of what I do. Right. And right now I'm sorry, I can't do a better job at that because like you guys, I'm just like you. I'm one of you. I'm a fan and I'm brokenhearted right now because the guy I love, the kid I supported and loved and believed more than any player we've ever drafted is completely disappointing me and making me look like a moron. Because I've come onto the show and I've said it so many times that this kid is good, this kid is great, he's going to be amazing, and I'm totally he's making me look so wrong right now. Like I can't be positive. I can only be positive about the defense and the team. Like I'm happy that the team is going to be competitive and very good over the next bunch of years. That's what I'm happy about. Exactly. That punt was the punter is, I think Braden Mann has to go. I was not feeling that way for a long time. I gave him a lot of chances. I am not a fan of Braden Mann. Not at all. I do not think he's good. I don't think a punter one out of every other game should have a bad punt. Every other game he fucks us over. Every other game. Like when we play, how many games we've played now? 6 and 4, 10? In 5 games, he's fucked us over. In 5 games out of the 10, at least, he's put us in a bad situation. Punters are not supposed to do that. There's no way. I've never seen in my life as a football fan a punter that does that often. 1 out of every 2 games, fuck up. It's a freaking punter. Give me a break. So I agree. It's just disgusting to me, this punter. I mean, if we go into overtime, we have just as much of a chance to win as they do. Like, we really do. You go into overtime, and all you need is one crazy play. One crazy play. We would have been in it. We were in that game. Our defense was doing great. I trusted them. Like, I had no problem. So that punt, I mean, if he just punts it out of bounds, that game goes to overtime. So it's a disgusting loss, guys. It's a disgusting loss. It's not only on Zach. Melvin is here. What's going on, Melvin? Love you, man. Back up the Brinks truck for Lamar Jackson. I wish there was no salary cap because we are a New York team. Let's just eat it up. Let's just be a New York market team and just like if there was no salary cap or we were allowed to just pay a penalty, let's just freaking do it. Just bring in a great quarterback. Yeah, you taking a lot of people feel this way, including myself about today. But yet there's a part of me that's already coming around saying I still believe somehow he could work out. I think we're going to beat Chicago and feel much better. I agree. I think I see. Oh, look at this. Jacob Finnegan has become a member. Thank you. For those of you who are wondering what that means that I have a membership. You could be a light snacker, a snacker, a heavy snacker, or a super snacker. And you get things. If you're a super snacker, you get to, or a heavy snapper or something like a super heavy snacker. I don't know. You get to come on the show if you want. All kinds of things. Basically, I'll do whatever you want. Become a snacker, and all you got to do is send me a Twitter message that says, I want this, and I'll be like, okay, and I'll do it for you. But this is my sponsorship, guys. This is what sponsors the channel. Believe it or not, there's some expenses to all this, and I pay those expenses. And my wife kind of would be like, it would be really cool if, you were able to raise some money for this and then cover your hobby. And I'm not going to lie, I would love it if I made even more money. I can invest in cooler things like better lighting and real studio, whatever. I don't know. But this is the kind of thing that does it. I appreciate it, Jacob. Thank you. If you go to the main page of my YouTube channel, you'll see it says join. You could join and become a member. It's like literally, and I'll steal this from Buffalo Jet Fan, for the price of a cup of coffee a month. The price of a cup of coffee a month, not a day, a month. You could be a member and help be a sponsor of the channel. So I really appreciate it if you can. If you can't, just subbing and being here, I appreciate. You do a great job. Thank you. I appreciate that, friend. Thank you so much. I'm trying. But a lot of people here and watching, so hopefully I'm doing something good. Giving you some entertainment on a Sunday after a horrible, miserable game. They need to get Sam Howell from the Commanders. He can run this offense. I don't know. I'm not giving up on the system yet, but maybe there might be a day. This L is in no way on the punter. Zach Wilson is to blame. He only had 6 first downs, 6 not on the punter. No, I'm not blaming the punter 100%, but I do think that we need a new punter. Not because of today. I think we need a new punter because I've never seen a punter hurt a team so much, like so often. Like it's okay if you have like 1 or 2 shanks in a season. That's what I'm used to. All the years I've been a Jet fan, 1 or 2 shanks. Like, oh, he shanks 1, 30 yards. Oh, shit, what happened? Then maybe he does something else bad. But this guy, it's every other game. Melvin, it's every other game. We need a punter who we could trust. Just punt the ball. And it's sad because sometimes he'll punt it 60 yards and I love him for it. But come on, you can't fuck up once every 2 games, How many times did he make him kick today? Yeah, but that somebody else said that, and it's kind of humorous. Tigo said that. Yeah, but he had to do like all these punts. Who cares? It's a punter. What about the offensive lineman, the defensive lineman? What are the guys that will line up every game and get beat up? Their hands are getting pounded. Really? These guys, when they punt, you don't think they punt 50 times a day to practice or 100 punts a day? How many times? You don't think a punter punts the ball all week long? You don't think he could punt? Like he shouldn't be able to punt the ball 10 times? Like what does that even mean? Like what are you talking about? He's a punter. I don't. Is there like? Am I wrong? Is there like a pitch count for punters? Does your leg get tired from punting? I mean, maybe it does, and I don't know what I'm talking about. But forget today. The guy has had shanks all year long. He's a horrible punter. Do you want to go through the games? I think it's 1 every 2 games, like 1 out of every 6 or 7 punts. He fucks it up. It's true. Go back. It's true. I'm going to do it. I'm going to have Adam, whoever, or my brother. My brother has the patience to do it. We're going to go back and we're going to count up all the bad punts by Braden Mann that went under 40 yards or under 30 yards. Okay. And we're gonna go. I'm gonna do a show where we name all of his bad punts, and then anybody here I challenge to find me a punter that has more screw ups in a season, because I've never experienced it like this. I have never, as a Jets fan, have any memory of having a punter that has shanked more punts than this kid has in the last year and a half. It is absolutely ridiculous. No one else notices that. Someone help me out here. No one else notices that we have more bad punts than any team than we've ever had in our lives as Jet fans. I'm not defending Zach, but this is a season to make it or break it. I'd make it a competition next year for the starting position. Well, I agree. I agree no matter what. Like, I'm hoping, Snowball, that he's much better in the next 7 games. I'm hoping that this is a New England thing. I'm hoping this is a New England thing, and that he plays and has some really good games in the last 7 games, and his bad games are just like his worst games out of the 7 that are left aren't horrendous, right? I'm hoping for that. But no matter what, if we bring somebody else in, hell yeah, it's a competition. Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't say hands down no competition. Even Braden Mann, if they bring in a new punter next year, yeah, competition. Competition. I'm not saying just hire someone on the spot. Competition. For sure. Always competition. Best way to run a team. Competition. We would be 8-2 at Minshew. Probably. I like Minshew. I always thought Minshew was good. I never understood why he never gets a chance to just be a starter somewhere. Bob Plain. Super Cam? Big Cam? Cam? Newton? I think he's done. I don't see Cam Newton playing in the NFL anymore. But he couldn't be worse. Jeremy's biggest problem is Zach was compared to Mahomes. My biggest problem? The media didn't do the kid any favors. Play defense. I don't think that was my biggest problem. My biggest problem is I watched every play he ever threw, every ball he ever threw, and every play he ever played in college. I fell in love with him because he looked great. And it's just not translating in the NFL. And I think it's the speed of the game and the processing. But I wouldn't say it's my problem. I never believed he was Mahomes. I mean, I dreamt it, but I never believed it. I didn't defend him because I thought he was Mahomes. I defended him because I thought he had great talent. And I thought, just give the kid time to learn the speed of the game. And you know what? It's not impossible that could still happen. It's not. But I personally am admitting that today I'm doubting it, like severely doubting it for the first time ever. You know, it's hard. And it like Twisted is saying, it's hard not to doubt it. The way he played today makes it really hard to still believe in him. You think Cam is our savior, huh, Bob? I like Bob Plain. Bob Plain, he's just a plain ordinary guy. He's a guy. Doesn't claim to be anything special. He's just a guy. He's plain old Bob. I like Bob. Did I get there, buddy? Did I get there? I haven't gotten to check, so thanks for letting me know that. Did I get to 2,000 subs? Thank you. Was it the dude who subbed, was it V-Man, North Carolina, who used 12 burner accounts that got me there? Daniel Meehan. It was horrible comparison. Mahomes can throw a ball further from his knees. I think it's horrible to compare anyone to Patrick Mahomes, right? I just wanted Zach to be Zach. I wanted him to make what he was in college, what he was in the NFL. A guy who, believe it or not, was fairly accurate and could throw a ball from any angle to any part of the football field from any place on the football field. That's who I saw in college. That's who I loved. Oh, I think I got there. Everybody, I'm gonna officially give myself a round of applause. I hope that I don't lose subscribers and fall back under 2,000 and I celebrated too early. But apparently I've hit 2,000 subs. I'd like to thank everybody here, everybody that subbed. Thank you so much for this amazing honor. To get to 2,000 subs in a year is something I'm really, really proud of and excited about. And just so you know, my goal is, and it's crazy for me to have this goal, but why the hell not? 5,000 is the goal for next year. This year, by Thanksgiving next year, I want to be at 5,000 subs. That's the goal. Why not, right? Why not dream and think big? Oh, you were thinking of, yeah, Chris Sims. Yeah, man. Why did Chris Sims have to do that, Daniel? I don't get it. I don't get it. I wish they would have underestimated him like they underestimated Tua. You know, it would have been so much easier if everybody would have just underestimated him. He can't do it. And then if he didn't do it, okay, everybody was right. And then if he did do it, we're happy and we're like Miami right now. You know, but here it is. Jets Chaos, 2K subscribers. It might even be more than 2,000 subscribers because it doesn't show you that. Like it could be 2005, but all it will show you is the 2K. I think it won't say 2.1 until I'm at 100. Right? Is that right? Oh no, it'll be it might say 2.01, which would mean 10. Because that's how it worked in the thousands. I had to get it didn't show until I got 10, 10, 10. You had to get 10 to get to the next level. So I'll check later and see. What am I going to do with all my subs? Maybe I could start like a club. Oh, wait a second. I have a club. It's a membership. Baby Ninja, I just subscribed. I like your optimism. Go Jets. Thank you, Baby Ninja. I appreciate that. If 77 is relating to the year you were born, you are exactly the same age as my wife. Will Bear tickets tank price-wise now? That way I can go. The only problem, Barney Miller, and I would recommend this, unless you take the train from the city, I would stay in a hotel right by the stadium. Because the problem is not even the price of the ticket. The tickets are always easy to pick up, not that expensive. You call, Dom C, you call around these channels, you'll find somebody who'll sell you or give you a parking pass if you're driving. Like, none of that is the issue, Barney. The issue is that you're stuck in the stadium for 4 hours after the game. You're stuck in the parking lot. It's the worst. Getting out of there is the worst. And that's why our stadium has empty seats. Because people cannot stand it. Oh, you're taking the train. Good man. So there are tailgates you can pay money, and then you don't have to worry about carrying lots of food. And you can go 3 or 4 hours early, and you can eat and hang out with other Jet fans. So if you want to tailgate, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, maybe you'll get in cheap. Are we playing the Bears at home? I guess we are, right? I guess we are if you're saying it. That's cool. If we play the Bears at home, we better win. Like, we really better beat them at home. I don't even know if Justin Fields is going to play. So it would be a disgrace if we didn't win. Yeah, some guy is saying it too. Yeah, man. I only went, when I went to the opener, the great thing about it was Green Bean did the driving. So I said the worst case scenario is we're stuck for 3 hours in the car and I just drive him crazy. Like, I do and then stick my finger in his ear and go, nyip, nyip, and just, until he's like throws me out of the car in traffic. I was like, that was my backup plan. Like, if it was really bad, the traffic, I was just going to drive Green Bean crazy. But it wasn't that bad. It took us like an hour to get out of the stadium, and then we actually were fine. We got back onto Staten Island. But when you go from the city, it's on the train, it works fine. So that works. We lost because we could not run, and we could just sit back on the pass. It didn't help. Not being able to run did not help. Not having our offensive linemen did not help. But sometimes you want your quarterback to be able to compensate for shit like that, And unfortunately, Zach wasn't able to do it. You see, Finnegan, you get your comments highlighted more when you're a snacker. See, when you're a snacker, I give you more attention. So, thanks for being a snacker. Damn, Germ, that's the Jets' first away game loss. Wish you didn't mention that. Yeah, we were great on the road until this game. John Silva's Jack did what they told him, took the sack. No crazy scrambles. Yeah, but there were some sacks where he had time and he just couldn't get rid of the ball. So how about this? That's next. Now that you're taking the sacks and staying there, now we're going to work on being more decisive and getting rid of the ball. How about that? And you know what? We're going to watch the all 22. So we'll have a better idea of who was open, and we'll have evidence soon enough. In 48 hours, I'll be able to watch the all 22, and there'll be no argument or discussion. I got free tickets to the Bear game. I just need a parking pass. I drive from Long Island. Oh, that's brutal, dude. If you need a parking pass, let me ask Dom see if he has an extra one for you, and I'll ask Sack Exchange. I know a couple of guys who usually have extra parking passes, or like at cost, like $25 and not 100 or $120. Like, don't pay 120, Snowball. Let me look into it for you. Maybe Dom C. I don't know if Dom C's here or if he's on here, but I'll ask. Sometimes he has an extra parking pass. And if Dom C doesn't have one, then Sack Exchange might have one. And I could reach out to him and say, do you have any extra parking passes? And he might have them at cost, like I said, so you don't get ripped off. Because if you don't know anybody and you try to get a parking pass, it's going to cost you about $100, and it's with the taxes and everything and the service fees. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then they don't give you the ticket until like an hour or a few hours before the game, so you have to stress the whole time. Like, you stress out and like, am I going to get the ticket or not? Is this real? Like, it's just, you don't want to deal with it. So I will look into that for you. Remind me if I forget, Snowball. But when you see, or if you see Dom C, just ask him, because sometimes he gets stuck with an extra parking pass. He just wastes it away, because I think he has season tickets, I think, and then part of another season ticket. So I think he might have like extra. I am not saying he is great or the franchise, just not willing to burn him at the stake for losing to Bell. Who are we talking about? Oh, it's a Belichick. You talking about Zach? Yeah, I'm not burning him at the stake. I don't like what he said at the press conference, though. I'm probably more mad now about that than anything. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, John? I'm more mad that he's not taking accountability than I am that he lost and played bad. You know? I'm already calming down. I'm already starting to hope that he plays well against Chicago so I could be on the Zach wagon again. That's just the truth. I'm like, already in my mind as I talk about it, I'm like, maybe he'll play great against Chicago, and part of me could start to believe again. Really, I'm that crazy. That's why I'm chaos, man. You know, if I was just a regular guy and wasn't nuts a little bit or a little confusing or weird or strange or whatever you want to say, I wouldn't have named myself Chaos. There's a reason we came to that name. There's a reason Frankie and I and my brother, when me and Frankie were on his channel doing a show, there's a reason Chaos was used to define me. I mean, that's part of the chaos. That one day I might be saying Zach sucks shit and I want him off this team. Cut him for all I care. And the next day I might be saying, you guys are all giving up on Tim way too soon. Zach is the guy. He's going to be our franchise quarterback. You never know what's going to come out of my mouth. I'm just telling you what I'm feeling at the moment. Right now, I'm very disappointed in what he said. I'm shocked at how bad he played. I never thought I'd see him play that poorly. Never thought I'd see it, to play that poorly. But at the same time, I think about Chicago, and I think, what if Zach comes out and has a great game? I'm going to love him again. I'm not going to run around saying we have our franchise quarterback, but I'll be very happy. I'm a Jet fan above all else, guys. It's more important winning is everything to me. Like, the Jets winning is everything. I will take a Jets win over being right any day. Any day. If it's Mike White that makes us the better team, or Strevler, any day. Just win. I just want them to win. I want that ring so bad. I can't even tell everyone. You must feel it, right? I don't know how many of you are as old as me that have been watching as long as I have. 1981. And 1981. So it's 41 years. All I want to do is win. I don't care who the quarterback is. I don't care. I enjoy the players. I love the players. I love Michael Clemens and JFM and Huff and Lawson. I love the players. I love Brees Hall. I love Garrett Wilson. Love these guys. Love them. But at the end of the day, whoever it is that wears our jersey, I just want to see our jersey, somebody in our jersey holding up that Lombardi trophy. And if the quarterback is not Zach Wilson and it's somebody else, I don't care. As long as we get our trophy. Because I can't stand this anymore. I think I'm older than you. I remember watching Super Bowl 3. I'm 59. Born in 63. Yeah, you're my brother's age. You got 7 years on me. Or so. That's well, I was born in 70. Yeah, I was born in 70. So, yeah, you actually remember the Super Bowl. That's kind of cool. And you probably remember the Barney Miller show a lot better than I do. I just remember Fish because he was Tessio from Godfather, and I knew that movie from when I was really young. John Sliva, you're 1959. Wow. That is 11 years older than me. So you're what, 63? You're like Salty Nolte's age. You know Salty Nolte? He's a big old former, like imagine a construction worker, a big tough guy, like, hey, I'm gonna eat my lunch right now. And then imagine them older with gray hair. Like gray hair, but still kind of big. That's Salty Nolte. Namath got you hooked, huh? That must have been something. 6. Wow. Yeah, the only thing I remember when I was 6 was I remember Reggie Jackson and the Yankees in the 77 World Series. I remember all the home runs and everything. And I remember when I was 7 when Thurman Munson died, when they announced it. It was during the summer. I was up in the Poconos, a little tiny TV that we had back then. You know, TVs were small, big and heavy. And they came on the news and they said that Thurman Munson had died. And I was a Met fan, but man, was it weird for me because I love baseball and I watched every baseball game that was on TV, and I couldn't believe that guy with the mustache was gone. Could not believe it. John Silva, you're 350 pounds? Wow. I'm not messing with you, man. I'm not going to make you mad. You sit on me and just like, if you get on top of me, I'm dead. You are the Mets. Tom Seaver. That's Lee. That's my brother Lee, man. Lee, just like you. He's your age. Same thing. Love Tom Seaver, man. Loved him. Love Tom Seaver. I remember the second round with him. You know? Jets and Mets gave me joy in 69 and have given me pain ever since. That's what she said. No, well, the Mets gave us some joy in 86, right? 86 was a pretty damn good year for the Mets. I'll never forget it. Mookie Wilson coming into home plate. Or no, slamming his hands down. Dive. Joe Namath was bigger than Elvis back then. Wow. People loved him, huh? Man, he must have been with a lot of women in his life. All right, Chaos. Is the Namath cure curse real? No. It's not. But that's just my opinion. I'm not a very superstitious guy. I do believe in karma. I believe that when you're good to people and you're good things come back to you. And I do believe that when you're bad and you treat people like crap, bad things come back to you. But I don't know if that's superstition because I think that there might be a real reason, an explanation for that. You know what I mean? Like, I think that I don't know if that's a magic of the world. I think that that's just when you're good to people, you create more opportunities in the world for yourself. And that's why good things will come back to you. And when you're bad to people, you shut other people and other things out. So then you don't get the opportunities unless things come back to you. So there might be an actual reason for it. But I don't like to think about that reason because I think the reason, the motivation to be good to people, because it feels good to be good to people. And even that is selfish because then you're doing it to feel good because you're being good to people. So you can't win. No matter what you do, you're not selfless. You're selfish because no matter what you do, it's for you. Wyatt Peters, Joe Willie Namath would have been the best quarterback in history if he didn't hurt himself in college. Huh. That's interesting. I didn't even know he did. So it shows how much I know. My daughter lives in Raleigh. If you need food suggestions. Is that what it says, Raleigh? I am an expert in Raleigh too, though. Because my brother is there. My parents and my brother is there. My brother is a foodie. So but I'm not saying that I won't exchange ideas. because your daughter might have discovered a place that we haven't yet. So I'll listen to any suggestions she has. And I'll share our experiences because we have a lot of places in the Raleigh Durham area that we love as well. So maybe we could trade ideas. Like if she likes pizza, definitely tell her to go to Morrisville and check out, not Morrisville, it's Cary, and check out the DeFaro Pizza Tavern, because me and Adam had the time of our lives there. Everybody wanted to be a Joe Namath. Everyone wanted to be Joe Namath and Evil Knievel. Now, even Knievel, I remember. I remember Evil Knievel. I do. The motorcycle guy who would jump things and break his bones every once in a while. Food for thought. Salah benched Elijah because his head wasn't right. Can we say that about Zach too? I think it's a little different, but I know where I feel you. I don't want to bench him. I want him to come back and play really well against Chicago. I want to get rid of this nauseous feeling. I'm off from work this week, so I don't have to face anybody at work. I want him to come back, crush Chicago, so when I go back to work, I'm not embarrassed and humiliated. Oh, he was fast, huh? I didn't know that. Jeremy, come to the Minnesotan game with Iowa and me. Are you guys getting together and going? I should look into like the date and how much it costs to fly there. When is the Minnesota game? Is it like 2 weeks from now? I'd have to be off from work. Man, if it fell over a holiday, but then the holiday is... Does Southwest go to Minnesota? Because that's the easiest way to get a flight that's reasonable. I can always just jump on a Southwest flight. That'd be kind of cool. Minnesota, they probably won't beat us up too, right? We could root for the Jets and not get beat up. I worry about that. You know what I mean? If you told me that New York the situation report of Gunny was with me, and I had Buffalo Jet fan with me, and like then I'm not as nervous about stuff like that. Like it's like, oh yeah, I'll go, because what the hell's going to happen? If you know what I mean? If I'm sitting there with Gunny and with Buff, I mean, I feel pretty safe. But I don't know Jacob Finnegan. I don't know you, so I don't know. Are you going to be like me? Are you like me? Or are you a strong guy who can take care of himself? Iowan, I don't know. I mean, he's not the tallest guy, but Iowa Jet fans from Iowa, so that makes me think that you just think a guy from Iowa, like they'll just take your head and rip it from plumb off your neck, Oh, but you're from Iowa, so maybe you can plumb rip somebody's head right off their neck. So I don't know. I think about stuff like that because it's hard for me not to cheer, and I don't want to get beat up. Oh, it's the Midwest. Everybody is nice. Cool. It's funny because when I go to Chicago, when I used to go there for business, I used to travel when I was in technology before I was in education. Chicago, the thing that stuck out the most to me is when you went to the bars at night, you felt so safe. Like people didn't go out in Chicago, at least the bars that I was going into, to fight. I grew up in Brooklyn. People literally went out with their friends to fight. They were looking to fight. They'd go with a group of 6 or 7 guys and say, the first guy that looks at me in a way I don't like, we're going to beat the fucking hell out of him. Then I go to Chicago. I'm sitting at the bar and I look over and there's a few guys talking and they see me look and they're like, hey, how you doing? I was like, oh, hi. Like, what's your name? Jeremy. Where are you from? New York. But I live in California now. Cool. What are you doing in Chicago? Next thing you know, look, come over here. Buy your drink. I was like, holy shit. People are like friendly here. They're here to have a good time. It's pretty awesome. Not used to that. Sacramento, though, it depends. Sacramento, you go to the clubs where the young kids are, fights. But if you go to like the breweries here, it's like the best. People are friendly and nice, and you meet people and you talk. And it's so weird from a guy from New York to experience that. When you grow up in Brooklyn and you go to the bars on Flatbush Avenue, and all people want to do is fight. He's saying it's true. That's so true. It is true, right? It's so true. It really is. I'm not making this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Yeah, Zach looked like he was terrified today. He was playing scared. No question about it. It might be psychological. It might be that he's just afraid of Belichick and the way, the defensive looks. And he might come back and be fine next week, which would be a great thing because Belichick's not going to live forever, or he's not going to coach forever. He never challenges the cornerback. Streffler would do better. Okay. Can't argue anymore because anybody would have been better today. So it's like today is the day where you get to say whatever you want. You could say anybody in the world is better than Zach Wilson because today is the day I cannot argue. Because how could a quarterback been that much worse? Germ, sounds like you've been to a few Jets-Giant games. Every game was a fight festival. Yeah, man. Every game. But, like, that wasn't as bad as, first of all, go to any Oakland game, Raiders or A's. They're fighting in the parking lots. Cut me off, I'm going to kill you, you know. But, like, the worst thing in New York was not so bad in the city. In the city, you can go to the more adult bars. Like, in the city, upper East Side, back when I was in my 20s, there were fights sometimes. But if you went to 3rd Avenue on the mids, like the Irish pubs there, no fights. Not for, you know, you didn't feel that way. People were out there to have a good time. But if you went to the Upper East Side, where it was more of the bridge and tunnelers, everybody was coming from Brooklyn and New Jersey, that was fights. But the worst was Brooklyn, Flatbush Avenue. The worst. Like, I'm telling you, people went to fight. That was why they went out. They'd be disappointed if there wasn't a fight. People would want to go. I said, I don't want to go. Why don't you want to go? Why don't I want to go? Because there are people who go there purposely wanting to hurt me. And they love picking out guys like me. They know I can't do anything. See that guy at the bar? Let's beat up that guy. So what did I do? I became friends with the football team. My friends happened to be, every one of them, 6'3" and 250 something pounds. And to this day, who was I hanging out with at the game? Gunny. Buffalo was a big guy, by the way, and he knows how to fight. He's up for a good fight. Green Bean was a freaking madman because he was homeless. Anybody who was homeless, you don't want to fight. Because anybody who was homeless will do anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, once you're homeless and you're living in the streets like Green Bean was, you are now dangerous because you will do anything. That's why you don't pick a fight with a homeless guy, because they'll do anything. So they're good to have on your side. You're walking around. I feel good. I got Matt O'Leary, who's 6'50", right? You got Matt O'Leary on this side. I got Gunny and his wife, by the way, who'll kick anybody's butt. 2 Marines, right? I got Buffalo, who's like a black belt in freaking jiu-jitsu or whatever, and he's hanging out there. I felt pretty damn safe. Not to mention I was with the crew who loved me. And Iowan's there. I'll rip his head plumb off his shoulders if he messes with you, just like I was in the farm. By the way, there's a guy who gets mad at me and calls me racist for doing that. Not racist, because that's not race, it's Iowan, but like prejudiced against people from Iowa. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I got 2 really good friends from Iowa, Jacob Finnegan, an Iowan Jets fan. Like, there's no way I'm racist or prejudiced against people from Iowa. I love people from Iowa. They're my friends. True, there have to be Jet fans, otherwise I wouldn't know them, but still. I didn't say to them, I'm not your friend because you're from Iowa. I joke around just like they could joke around about New Yorkers. If Jacob Finnegan came to me and said, hey, you from Brooklyn? You like to eat pizza? Like, I would laugh. I'd say, yeah, that's us. That's how we are. Still live. I did a whole humanities test. I don't stop, man. I don't stop. What time is it? 6? Yeah. I don't have work tomorrow, so I'm less in a rush. You know? Knob is so mad. Sorry, Knob. I'm feeling the pain, man. I feel the pain. I do. I feel the pain. Homeless guy has nothing to lose. I know, but once you've been there, you've been there. You know what I mean? Like, once you've been there, you've been there. So now Green Bean will always be a guy who could take care of himself. Because when you're in the streets, you have to, like, it's just a mindset. Like, you have to be willing to take care of yourself. And you have to be willing to do anything to do it. So once you go to that place, you always have that in your back pocket. Plus, he got jumped by like 20 fans in Cleveland, and there were like 3 or 4 of his guys, and they got jumped by like 20 guys in Cleveland, and they didn't get beat up. They fought their way out of it. So, Yeah, the Russians, man. But you know who's the most dangerous in Brooklyn? The people I met from Brooklyn, mostly they're in Staten Island. Albanians. Never mess with an Albanian. I'm telling you, it's not like a legend thing or a folklore. It's not a lie. I am telling you, you do not mess with Albanians ever. Let me tell you a story. So there was this guy, we called him Dragon, right? It wasn't really my friend. He's my older brother's best friend's friend. Like I knew these guys, right? These guys, if you know what I mean. They ran a junkyard. And one of their guys, the muscle, was Dragon. And he was Albanian. And he was in a bar with two of his cousins who were Albanian. Okay, I think Afram, then you will back this up because I'm not saying anything bad about Albanians. I would never be so stupid to do it. So Albanians in Staten Island, there is some tension between them and Macedonians, like Croatians, even though the culture is almost exactly alike. But in Staten Island, they're good. A lot of them are good friends because they all live on Highland Boulevard. They end up being friends with each other and whatever. But like the girl and the boy are not allowed to get married if one's Albanian, one's Croatian. That's a problem, right? So anyway, I guess there's tension in the countries between the two countries. I don't know. But anyway, getting back to the point, these guys are hanging out in the bar. And these big freaking guys, I mean, they must have been 300 pounds, these huge guys, bump into Dragon. Just bump into him. And these guys were being cool. They were just like, Dragon was just like, hey, whoa, all right. You know? And these big guys turned to him and say, you got a problem with that, little man? And they just started fucking with him. Right? And they started messing with him. And Dragon said, you better back off because you're not going to like where this goes. And he goes, back the fuck off. And these guys, a couple more big guys, they start turning like they're going to do something. And out of nowhere, one of the other Albanian guys, out of nowhere, like he's a professional boxer, I don't know if his hand was made of stone, but knocked this guy like where he went like off the ground like this and fell flat down. I mean, just knocked him out. Lifted him off the ground, knocked him out. The huge guy. I mean, and just wrung. His face was like, all you saw was blood, right? And the other guys step back. These three Albanian guys step forward, and Dragon goes down to this guy's face and says, look at my face. I'm Albanian. He goes, you will never, ever, ever, ever mess with Albanian again. And the guy just looked at him, and the friends picked the guy up and left. Don't mess with Albanians. Trust me on this one. Okay. I don't know if it's because they, like it's the part of the world they grew up in, you know what I mean? And having to like be able to protect you. I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you, don't mess with these guys because when I would be hanging out with them, when Dragon was around, you never had to worry because nobody's messing with Dragon. You know what I mean? So they don't like Serbians. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. But in Staten Island, they get along because they're neighbors. Because it's like there's a whole area near the bridge in Highland Boulevard where there's a lot of Albanians and Serbians and Croatians, whatever, the Yugoslavia, from Montenegro. So they all get along. It's a similar culture, same kind of food, but not as far as the marriage, because I remember my friends. I have a really good friend who's Croatian, and she's like, what's the worst thing you could do? And she goes, bring home an Albanian. Like her dad would have went nuts. So that was that. And the other thing is, every Croatian, all of her cousins, all of her friends, and all the Albanians I ever met, they never have to hire a contractor. Like they could do all the shit themselves. Like they know how to do shit. Like if they are going to redo their bathroom, they do it. If they're going to redo a wall, they buy the sheetrock and they redo their wall. Like they laugh at you if you talk about like hiring a contractor. They're like, why should we hire a contractor? You buy sheetrock and you put up wall. I'm not kidding. You can't make this stuff up. Isn't it true, Ephraim? Would you ever hire a contractor? Would you just call your cousins and you make your own wall, right? You don't hire contractors to do that stuff. These guys build their own houses in their country. Okay. Belichick is Croatian? I didn't know that. Let me tell you the food, my God. Oof, so good. When Albania became communist after World War II, many escaped into former Yugoslavia and basically migrated there. And that always leads to tension. And you see, look, here's the evidence. I do everything myself. Of course you do. You're Albanian. They're real men. Like they're real. They do things. I'm some Jewish guy. I don't do shit. I change a light bulb. If it's a light bulb, a regular one, if it's anything difficult, like if it's the car headlight, you have to unscrew something. I don't know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. I have to go to the AutoZone and I call them up on the phone. Do you do the installation of the little light for the headlight? Because otherwise I have to go to a body shop or something because I don't know what I'm doing. Or I can ask one of my friends that's Croatian or Albanian. The problem is I moved out to Sacramento, so I'm not near them anymore. Can't make this stuff up. Oh, we got the porno sites here. Hold on, let me go block this. It's always a nice compliment when they come and visit because what it means is I've made it in the world. Hide user on the channel. There we go. Did I get it? I think I got it. Yep. Let's do an impromptu mock. Braden, I am not doing a mock draft. There is no way I'm doing a mock draft. No way. But I'm glad Afram is here because he could back up everything I'm saying. Because it's totally, totally true. I'm amazed by it. I'm not making fun of it in any way. I want people to know. I respect the hell out of it. I have a door right now that's off the hinges. And it's been that way for 2.5 years because of the pandemic. And you couldn't hire anybody. Like in Sacramento, I can't find anybody to do it. And the problem is that the holes that you screw the screws into on the hinges, the holes are too big now. They're worn down. So the screws won't stay in. So you have to buy this stuff called liquid wood. You have to stick some toothpicks and liquid wood in there and let it dry. So then you can make it solid again so you could drill the hinges back in. I bought the liquid wood. I still haven't put it in the holes. And I'm not strong enough to lift the door up and put the hinges, and I don't know how to do it. I need an Albanian. I don't have an Albanian here. Maybe Afrin will come visit, and then I'm good. But so what does that mean? My wife's office doesn't have a door; it just hangs there, leaning. So, which sucks because we want to close the door because she's doing like therapy for people and stuff, and I have to come upstairs and wear headphones because she can't close the freaking door. You know what I'm saying? That's right. No, Wilson doesn't need to speak to a couple Albanians. We need a few Albanians to speak to Zach Wilson is what we need. And that'll take care of it. I'll fly 3,000 miles to screw in the door. No, but I'll take you out, man. We'll go out. We'll drink. I'll take you out for beer, food. I'll take you to Napa Valley if you want to go to Napa. I mean, I wouldn't make you come here, screw in the door, and then say, okay, go home. Like, we'd show you California. We'll go to San Francisco. We'd have a good time. Baking soda super glue. Oh, really? You see? Say, Don, we know what we're doing too, mate. We don't have contractors. We do it ourselves. That's a pretty good New Zealand accent, wasn't it, Braden? Mix baking soda with super glue. That's a good idea, too. Well, I already bought the liquid wood. All I need to do is someone taught me the toothpick trick. Like they said, jam all that wooden glue into the holes best you can, and then stick the little toothpick in there, too, and break it off. I was like, all right. And then drill right into it. Use ramen to fix the door. Okay. Yeah, but the problem is like I can't take the hinge off the door because then the door doesn't stay. You know what I mean? Like I got to screw the hinges into the wall, and that's what the door goes onto that holds the door up. The guy screwed it up. He took it. He was shaving it down because the house, I guess, settled a little and it wouldn't fit the door. So he shaved it down, and now he couldn't get it back in. And then the pandemic happened and he disappeared. So now I'm stuck without a door. I mean, I'm going to bite the bullet. I mean, the problem is it's not enough work for a contractor for them to be worth their time. So what you need to do, this is how it works when you do a private contractor, like, or just some random, guy off of freaking the neighborhood, what is that? Stupid on-site forum or whatever, neighborhood watch or whatever. You go on and you find somebody, they want to charge you for a day, right? So, these guys will charge $350 a day plus parts for anything you want them to do. So you have to wait until you have a day's worth of work for them. So, so it's kind of annoying. Actually get longer screws. Okay, I guess that makes sense. The house is 108 years old, so it's a little bit complicated because everything seems to not work right. It's like all freaking plaster and turns to powder. I don't know, man. There's no beams. The beams are like half the regulated size because it's the old code, and there's not as much of them. It's really annoying. Actually get longer screws all you need. This way you're screwing into 2 times 4. Yeah, that's a good point too. So I'll get longer. I'll do both, right? So this way I'm going deeper and I got the toothpick and the glue in there. I need a super. Yeah, I need to recognize I'm a Jewish guy who doesn't know how to do anything. And I need to, instead of buying a house, I needed to buy a condo where you just pay your fees and the condo management company does all that stuff for you. That's what I need. Can't trust anyone, too. It's so hard to find anybody willing to do it, willing to pay them. It's like, here's money. Just fix my fucking door. 24-3 Bears. That's what you think the score is going to be? You think the Bears are going to beat us 24-3? Am I reading that right? Braden, are you saying that? That doesn't sound like you. Or are you saying they won today by that score? No, that can't be either. Wait a second. I thought that Justin Fields got hurt today. Let me look. Bears, Falcons. The Bears lost 27-24. Justin Fields, 14 for 21, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, but I think he got hurt. Maybe he didn't get hurt because there's no other quarterback that played for the Bears. So is that a lie? Because people told me he got hurt. And he was the only quarterback who played. Unless he got hurt on the last play of the game. There are many YouTube videos you can watch. Yeah, but I'm a spaz. I'm not Albanian. I'm weak and pathetic. I can't do things. I watch the video, and then when I do it, I mess it up. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Not everything. Some things I've managed to do. I'm just upset, Mike. I'll get over it. Okay, good. You got to get over it. I mean, look, we just need to beat Chicago, and then we're 7-4, and all of a sudden we're feeling really happy again. Right? I will watch a YouTube video. Thank you. That's a good suggestion. I'll watch it. I'll try. It's just that I need my wife to step up and be some help. Like, just hold the door steady. It's like, but she gets distracted. Like, she'll be holding it, and then the next thing I know, it starts to tilt, and I'll look over. She's on her phone. Now I'm blaming her. I'm like Zach Wilson. Here's a prediction for the Jets Bears. Salah refuses to bench Zach, who continues to blow goals. Bears win 12-0. It's not going to happen that way. He's capable of playing better than he played today, right? We have to believe that. Beams were bigger back then. Rough cut. I don't know, because it's supposed to be the beams were, I forgot. It's like half the size, the beams. Instead of, but whatever, I don't know. I try to get, when I rewire the house, which will happen eventually, I'm going to rewire the whole house. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have to, well, it depends on the contractor. Some have a good person who knows how to redo plaster and texture. Some just rip all the plaster off and they put up sheetrock instead. But when I rewire the house, I'm going to have them strip the walls to put in new insulation, wire it, new insulation, and then redo the wall. When that happens, I'm going to have them put what's called joints, not the kind you smoke, to connect the thin beams and make more places that you could drill into to hang things up and to have a more secure wall for hanging things. Like, I'm going to do all that. That's my plan. I want to strip the walls down. I want to take out all the disgusting old worn down insulation, put in new insulation so the house is warmer and colder, it maintains better temperature, and the wiring goes in the right way. Like, it could be wired the right way because there's no walls, and then you re-insulate it, redo the walls, and while I'm at it, I'm going to bring the house up to code and put more outlets in. I'm going to do everything. Got a whole plan for this house. I just got to wait a couple more years until I get the money to do it. And I'm going to set this house up, make it real nice. Maybe those people who come in and do that, because that's a giant job, for an extra $100 will fix that fucking door for me. Need to get some furring strips and shims for under the door to support it. You see, everybody else knows what they're doing. Look at the spray foam insulation instead of fiberglass. Look at you guys are giving me all this advice. That's great. What's this? Wow, Knobcraft is on a roll. He is pissed at Zach Wilson. Knobcraft. If I was Zach Wilson, I would not eat in Knobcraft's restaurants. I got the spray installation in the room I'm in right now. That's why those white dots are. I still haven't painted them or retextured it. They shot in because I'm in this was an add-on in the house in the loft. So it's like kind of like two slits like this, and it's straight across this whole upstairs. And it's like slanted like an A-frame. So in between my ceiling here in this room and the ceiling of the house is tons of space. So they put holes all over this ceiling and shot insulation up and stuffed it and filled it with insulation. Because this little kind of like tunnel that they built through the attic or the attic space of the house needed insulation because it got too hot up here. It's not the best design in the world, but it gives me this studio and it gives us a whole media room across the way, like a much bigger room where we could watch TV and stuff. Wait, but today is meatloaf. No, today's the hot dogs. I'm making the meatloaf tomorrow when I have more time. Unless you want to eat late, I could still do the meatloaf. You want Jeremy famous meatloaf? Jocelyn, want meatloaf? I guess I could. It takes an hour. We'll eat it late. I'll end the show soon and we'll eat late. Jeremy with the old lath and plaster house, the blow insulation into the walls and run the wiring on the outside of the wall in something called raceway. All right. I'm gonna be really good about this. Like me and my wife said, no more bargains or deals, no more finding side contractors. We're gonna find a licensed real company, even if they charge more, with a real electrician, real contractor that brings in all licensed and insured, and we're gonna do it right. Because that's the last thing we got to do to this house, the last major thing. Like once we get that done to this house, we're good. Every pipe, all the galvanized pipes are gone. It's all tech or PEC, whatever they call it, or the other kind. Like we have a mixture of it's all gone. All the bad is gone. It's all good pipes now. That's in this house. There's only two things left to do: rewire the house, add the extra outlets and everything, and all that good stuff. The board, the power board, or whatever they call it, the electrical board is new, like 8 years old. So that's good. It's ready. It's got plenty of empty switches. It's all good. Then the other thing we got to do is right now we're connected to the old water line. Thing runs about underground, like 50 yards. Small little pipe. Water pressure sucks. But there's a new water line in front of the house. The problem is I got to pay the city of Sacramento like $5,000 permit. And then my plumber can drill from my driveway, like from the house where the closest pipe is. He can drill underground and hit the new water line. And that would give us like hotel type pressure because right now less than 20% of the city actually is connected to that new water line. So I'd be one of the very few houses like on the block. It would be great. I'm going to have crazy water pressure. So I got a few things left to do. But oh, that's funny. Is the house like the Jets? It's like a rebuilding project. I did really good on this house, man. It's up a lot of, I bought at the right time. I did really good. Now I just need to fix it up a little bit more. Electricians hate to work with old lath and plaster walls. I know. That's why you get a contractor. The one contractor I talked to, his guys are plaster guys. He's like, no, we keep the plaster. I kind of want the plaster gone. I don't like it. I don't like drilling into plaster and all the powder comes out. I don't like it. I like sheetrock. I could use my little detector, find out where the beams are, hang things. I like just good old-fashioned sheetrock. But they seem to like the some people like the plaster. I think either way, it's going to cost about the same amount. I don't like. Some people think the plaster would cost more, but this guy said no. I would charge you just as much for the drywall. I have guys who are good at texture and plaster. I was like, all right. P.S. Our water pressure is fine. Yeah, it's fine, but it could be much better. I want the best. Germ, you have to get that door up. YouTube it if you have to. Okay, I'll get it up, man. I'll get the door up. Jocelyn wants that door. Let me tell you something. She wants the door so bad. We got to fix that door, right, honey? Sheetrock is best. Yes. You see, I like sheetrock. And sheetrock is easier to go back into because with the plaster, anytime you have a reason to drill a hole or something, it's like now you have to deal with the texturing and all. Sheetrock is much easier to deal with. They don't like the plaster. They just know it's a huge job to remove the plaster and laugh. Oh, yeah, that's true too. We're going to watch YouTube videos and figure it out, honey. Get the liquid glue. I'm going to do that part. I keep forgetting. Let's at least make it that we could drill into it. And we're going to get longer screws. That's what Afrin told me. He's Albanian, so he knows. Yeah, not having a door is a HIPAA violation. Call me. I'll walk you through fixing the door. Okay. I'll reach out to you when I'm ready to do it. I'm actually off this week, so I might really call you. And I got a friend coming over that I'm helping do YouTube videos. He's going to do how to get loans for homes because he came from the finance world. So maybe while he's here, I can make him help me fix the door. So I should do the drywood part and have that ready. So when he comes, we're ready to drill into it, right? So, yeah, maybe I'll try to get that done. I'll call Afram if I can't do it. That door's a metaphor for the Jets season. You're not off this week, but it doesn't matter. I'll do it when, you don't have any clients or something. Have the wifey hold the door steady while you screw the hinges. That's all we got to really do. I just got to put the liquid wood in and then figure out how to screw the hinges in. I'm going to use the YouTube videos and I'm going to get in touch with Afram if I have to. Put in the toothpicks first. Put as many as fit and then inject the liquid wood. It's very thin, though, just so you know. Like the hinges, it's not like thick screws. Like, I don't know why, but it's like very small, the holes. You know what I mean? Like, I got to look. I don't know how big. I got to check it out. But I don't think that I don't even know if one toothpick will fit in there. Like maybe just one. Is that okay? So I stick the toothpick in and then I shoot the glue. How do you get the glue to go deep in? Don't you have to use a toothpick to push it in a little bit? I'll figure it out. As long as, right? Yeah, I'll shove a couple of toothpicks in there. I'll put liquid glue on them and shove them in, right? I'll put the liquid wood all over them and then shove them in and then push in more liquid wood. So weird. Why am I so incompetent? Just not good at this stuff, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Barney Mills saying good night. Good night. Good night. Yes, tomorrow will be rough. It's going to be a tough week, but we're going to get that win tomorrow and feel much better. You guys made me feel better already. We're talking about other things. It's nice. I thank you for that. Here's going to take the hinge apart, pull the pin, screw the hinge. That's what someone told me to do. Twisted. I'm going to look at it on YouTube so I could see it physically. Okay? Bigger screws. Definitely longer screws. That makes a lot of sense. You don't feel better? You will. Super chat. Jets New York 102. Thank you. If Josh Allen could take accountability after a loss, how the hell can Zach not? This dude has a lot of nerve. He has accomplished zero to act that way. It's the first time he screwed up. I agree. He screwed up. Like, it's the first time he said something that was selfish. It was the first time he didn't take ownership and accountability. I hope I don't know. Is there any chance he's going to pull it back? Is there any chance he's going to say I was wrong for doing that? I don't know. But I don't know. But I thank you for the super chat. He should have taken accountability. That's why I named this live show what I named it. That's the point of the name of the live show. he messed up 2 times today. He messed up in the way he played, and he really screwed up that press conference. Jim Pock is asking what he said. What he said was basically, they said, do you feel you let the defense down? And Zach Wilson said, no. He said, I don't feel like I let the defense down. It was windy. I don't know if the it's windy part is true. Some people are saying he said it, and some people are saying he didn't. So I don't know about that, but some people are saying he said it was windy. Yeah, he screwed up a lot of games, but it's the first time he screwed up the interview thing. Anyway, thank you so much, Jets New York 102. I appreciate the super chat. And Jet fans, Jet Nation, I hope everybody feels better. I'm still getting a lot of advice. I don't want to end the show until I've read everything. Garrett Wilson has been saying it. When Zach Wilson first got hurt, he clearly said the ball thrown by Flacco was way better than Wilson. He did say that. Can't argue that. That was weird when he said that. Yeah, this is my scary thing. I panic over that. Like, is he really just another Johnny Manziel or Manziel? The hinge should be routed out already and should be flush with the door jamb. Don't need toothpicks or liquid glue. Just get 2 half screws, 2.5-inch screws. So you're saying that the screws just have to be longer. Okay. But putting in the liquid wood, it wouldn't hurt, right? I mean, I went out and I bought it, you know. I felt so important buying it and everything. I don't know why they don't run slants, man. I've been screaming that for all year. The fact that Saleh didn't leave the room open for a quarterback change says a lot about him. How can Tua be benched early on and not Zach? It is, look, there's different philosophies. We'll see. I don't know. It's hard to knock Saleh too much because we are 6-4, which is in the playoff hunt, which is something we haven't had in a really long time. Thanks, guys. You're welcome, Twisted. I hope you're okay, man. Take care. You just need good base. Okay. You guys are the best. Yeah, Afram. I think you know where I am on Twitter. It's at Jeremy Cravat too. If not, the next time I go on, I'll let you know. I'm gonna do the I'm gonna YouTube it and see if that works. It's no backing. We'll just strip out again. Gotcha. All right, that makes sense. I'm gonna let you know if it works. I'm gonna YouTube video it or whatever. I'm gonna get longer screws, the whole thing. Hopefully it'll work. I'll let you know if it doesn't. Man, you guys keep chatting. I feel bad. I never want to leave. You know me. But my wife wants meatloaf, and if I'm gonna do it, I have to start making it now because it takes like at least an hour and 10 minutes. I will take pictures of it if you want, guys. I'll take pictures of the meatloaf. It's a famous recipe from my mom. But anyway, you're welcome for the content. Guys, thanks for everything. Thank you. Thank you for getting me to 2,000 subs. It'll feel great when I confirm it. I appreciate it. 5,000 is next by next year. Let's get there. Let's grow a very big channel together and make our community bigger and better. And also, let's help get 49ers Chaos to 1,000 subs. Thanks, man. Thank you, everybody. Take care. I will leave you with something fun. Let me say, let's go back to better times. Let's go back to the draft.
Don't not be Thibodeau. And here it comes. It's about to come in. Oh, my God. They didn't. They took Sauce Gardner. Oh, my God. They don't want an edge. Maybe he likes Jermaine Johnson at 10. Then we're not going to get a wide receiver?
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver. Oh, my God. No edge. The Jets traded up. Are we taking JJ? Are we taking JJ? Because I know Braden is in New Zealand saying, we should get Yuri, Mike. He's definitely saying that. JJ! We got Johnson! We got Johnson at 26! We got Johnson at 26! This is great! Yes! They took Roger McCreary. They didn't take Dean. We traded up. We can get Jacoby Dean. It really is. They took Breece Hall.
Wow. I mean, look, I love Brees Hall. But there's also Jeremy Ruckert, who I think is the best tight end in the class personally. They took Jeremy Ruckert. He took Jeremy Ruckert. Yes. We got a Jeremy. We got a Jeremy. Oh, and the Jets pick, and it's Max Mitchell, offensive tackle. We needed that. That's wow. We took Michael Clemens. I never heard of him. A defensive edge